All right, everybody, welcome back to Dawg Talk Sports. I have returned. Dan has returned, and we have a very special guest here today. We have Mr. Dylan Hatala making his return, because if they're all the hardcore Dawg Talk listeners out there will know that Dylan did appear on one episode 2 years ago, and we previewed the MLB season, if anyone can remember that one.
I do remember that.
Oh, see, look, hardcore listener right there.
Yep.
So
that was 2 years.
That was 2 years
That
ago.
was 2 years ago.
Yeah, that was a while. That was the 2022 MLB season. So we are going to get back into the action here. Yankees right now are trying to fight for the division, and unsurprisingly, they're blowing
They're
it.
doing a very good job at it. I'll tell you.
So we're not going to talk about them, just so that Pete could be happy.
Yes, thank you. Let me live in my bubble of gumdrops and butterflies, and I'm here with my rainbow net catching all of them. Everything's good in my world right now. We're going to be World Series champions. Just lock it down right now. It's going to be, you heard it here first, Yankees Padres in the World Series. Yankees 6 games. You heard it.
Wow,
all
Padres,
right.
interesting.
Who's going to tell him? Who's
What?
going to tell him that's not going to happen?
All right. Anyway, we're going to recap what happened in week 3. Me and Dan were not here, so we're going to kind of lean on Pete here. Ray should be joining us momentarily. We're going to lean on them as well. But we did watch lots of the games, and we definitely have some things to discuss. So with that being said, we're going to start right off with the game that was happening live during the recording session of last week's episode. Patriots at the Jets, and the Jets were handing out ass whoopings all day. And unsurprising, the Jets are a much better team at this point than the Patriots. Aaron Rodgers looks great. Jets defense tightened up a little bit. It's no good. And on cue here, Mr. Raymond. Here he comes. Looky.
Oh, the guy who was wearing the Aaron Rodgers jersey during that game.
Yes. Oh, there he is.
Woo!
I love it.
Man, rocking the specs tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
What?
Up,
Getting old.
OG Dawg.
I'm getting a little old. Getting a little old.
Wearing glasses doesn't mean you're getting old. I've been wearing them since I was 9.
Well, you have shit vision.
I have terrible vision.
Vision has just always been shit. Age has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, this is degeneration of age.
Are those readers?
Yeah.
Oh no, that's terrible.
Are they bifocals?
No.
The readers and blue light glasses to ease my eyes at night.
Oh, see, look, he gets.
Oh,
That's
so
some old
eh?
shit. That's old.
Oh no,
That's
listen.
old.
No, listen, I appreciate that right there. He's taking care of his eyes. This apprentice optician is proud of you, Ray.
Thank you. Thank you.
So you came in at the perfect time. We were just talking about the Jets Patriots. I was just off saying
My new team, my boys. Jet up, boys.
Glad to have you on the bandwagon, Ray.
Jet the fuck up. Let's go.
Oh my God! Wow.
Oh, that was so amazing.
Strange times we're living in.
But
You're not kidding. Really, really strange for me. Really strange. Shit, I remember a time where we just never even talked about the Jets because everybody forgot they existed. So.
Yeah. I mean,
Listen.
I just wish I could have had a camera on your face when you saw the Jet Aaron Rodgers jersey come into the frame. Bang.
No, dude, you had me going. Luckily, I was able to watch the YouTube version of that one and not just the audio too. So
I gotta apologize. I'm at work tonight. There will be no costume changes.
that's okay. That's all right. We're me and our special guest, Mr. Hatala, Dylan Hatala, are here in the man cave for this one. So our setting is also a little bit different here. But yeah, so like I said, Ray, we're gonna like I said to these guys previously, since there's 5 of us here, I'll go first, then Dylan, then Pete will go to you, and then Dan requested to be last in each topic. So that's how we're gonna go go on with this. So, yeah, I mean, the Jets whooped on them, and that's all I got to say really for that one. What do you think, Bill?
Yeah, no, that was. They got their ass kicked.
It was not good.
It was. I mean, I didn't watch the game because I got no skin in that race. Whether the Patriots won, whether the Jets won, didn't matter to me. I will say, watching Aaron Rodgers lose though is such a fan. I rarely get to see it, but when I do,
Well, it didn't happen this week.
I know, but I wish it could have.
Yeah, well,
I wish it could.
can't get everything we want.
Anything to get under my skin. That's what
You know,
that's what Dylan lives for.
no, if it wasn't Aaron Rodgers, I'd be perfectly fine with it.
Excuse you. Anything having to do with the Jets, and you will find something.
Well, first off, and we will get to what the Jets fucked up eventually. We'll get there. We'll get there. Don't. Yes, Daniel, you know who I'm talking about. But we'll get there.
Sam Darnold? Oh, okay.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Everybody knows that. Sam could play. I think he's proven now that he can play.
We'll get there. We'll get there. All right.
Listen, I mean, Jets did what we expected them to do. But damn, the Patriots hurting bad. And it looks like the Drake May show begins because Jacoby Brissett couldn't get the ball off for the life of him, under constant pressure. This was the get right game for the Jets to keep that momentum flowing, and Jets are gonna jet the fuck up. So this was the beginning of it.
Yeah, I mean, luckily me and Pete got to kind of commentate that one live on the pod last week, so that was cool. But it was good. It was a good showing. It was a get right game for the Jets. Jets are clicking on all cylinders. Thankfully, Morgan Moses didn't get long-term injured. He's going to be out for a few weeks, so you get to get some rookies plugged in there, and I think it's all going to work out. I mean, if they play consistently like that, and that's the key word for the Jets in the 2024 season, consistency. They're contenders, and in the weird NFL that we live in right now, being a contender is huge.
Hey, right, that right there, that's spoken like a true Jet fan right there.
Yeah, baby.
That's a pretty.
So you're telling me there's hope for the season, Ray, huh?
I'm telling you, there's hope for the season. I believe winners, and I get on board with winners, and the Jets are winners.
Right now, they're looking like winner. With Rodgers looking like old Aaron Rodgers looks like he's 31 years old right now. Yeah. It took him a few weeks to get back into football shape. He hadn't played a game in 2 years or whatever it was. So, yeah, it turns out he's still Aaron Rodgers. He could still spin it. He is more of a coach on the field now than he ever has been, I feel like. I feel like that offense is completely his. Damn, that team is completely his. And now if you get the defense to tighten up, they've been playing pretty well on special teams. I know Zerline missed that kick. It didn't really affect the game at all. I still think he's pretty good. So they keep playing well in all three phases and keep tightening up on defense, and they're going to win the amount of games that people have been talking about, and they're going to have home playoff games. We need home playoff games. You see what that building is like when this team is good. You get a home playoff game with that crowd in there, that rowdy crowd, okay? And they're going to register. It's going to be like a Seahawks deal, I'm telling you. Like, they're the 12th man East Coast. A lot of people just don't know it yet.
I'm going to announce right now, I will be at the Monday night Bills-Jets game in my Aaron Rodgers jersey, supporting the boys.
Let's go.
Dan, I got one thing for you. What was the Rodgers thing with Salah on the sideline when he came off the field and Salah's getting ready to dab his boy up, hits him with that, and then Rodgers checks him real quick.
Okay, so I know that this is just blown up all over social media, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Okay. Think of it like this. It was an awkward handshake. He said in the press conference afterwards, Salah isn't much of a hugger. So he didn't expect him to come in to hug. Now, if I'm Salah and Salah's been coaching this team for a while now, you see what he's had at quarterback. You're Robert Salah and you know what you can put together on defense, and now that's what your quarterback looks like. I'm hugging everybody. Okay, so I don't blame him for having that reaction. Number one. Number two, I don't blame Rodgers because obviously he said Salah's not a hugger. So you thought it was going to be more of the chest push that they do on defense, right? Because they do that. They do a different celebration, like a two-handed chest push, instead of just like bumping up against each other like the traditional way.
I needed to hear
understand.
And I was going to ask Ray, but since you're here tonight, I will. I want to get.
Ask Ray.
I will never be
on
the resident Jet fan. I am just a supporter. Dano holds that title and will always hold that title.
Well, as a new supporter, how do you feel about the exchange, Ray?
I mean, I think it was awkward. I think they're two alpha males, and clearly, Robert Saleh could be labeled as the head coach all he wants. It's Aaron Rodgers' team, and Aaron Rodgers
know that.
Shots. Everybody knows that.
And you know what? If I'm Robert Saleh, I don't give a shit. Okay, this team has a chance to be really good. I have a chance to win something here. I don't give a shit whose team anybody thinks it is.
At the end of the day, on the Wikipedia pages, you will go down with coach next to your name. So if he's going to bring you to glory, then right on.
Give Saleh credit for getting ahead of the game and hiring Rodgers' boy before they went in and did that whole pitch where they sent the private jets and everybody, right? So everybody was questioning the hire. Why would you guys bring the worst offensive person ever in the history of football to your team? Well, okay, it just so happens to the guy who's going to waltz into the Hall of Fame, his best friend is this guy, and he had his two best years in Green Bay with that guy as his coordinator. So if we have a chance to get that, and we have a chance to actually do something instead of wonder if another draft pick is going to hit or not. I'm so tired of that shit. No, we have something real now. And it took some brave moves in the beginning to get us here that a lot of people probably already forget about. But the Jets were getting a lot of crap for all these moves leading up to this point. And now look what it looks like.
Looks pretty good.
Looks like a team.
Pretty good. All right, we'll move on. Great transition. We're going to transition to the other New York team. The Giants went into Cleveland. They heard all the Raymond Tremor slander from last week and decided to beat up on the Browns. 6.5-point underdogs. Dan, am I switching you over?
Yeah.
All right, let me switch you over.
Sorry.
All good. I'll take the lead anyway on this one. Giants went into Cleveland 0-2, just looking for something, just anything of any worth. And that sign was Malik Neighbors.
And a kicker.
And having an actual kicker. Very good point.
Imagine that, a kicker.
Imagine that, a kicker. The Giants had 8 sacks this game, which was the most the team has had since 2016, also against the Cleveland Browns. But Malik Neighbors with another game, 2 touchdowns, over 125 yards. He is the real deal. He is the wide receiver one that the Giants have been desperately looking for. Devin Singletary continues to have a very quietly solid top 5 running back season right now. Another 90 yards and a tud, and that slide at the end to ensure the victory. And you know what? Let's put some respect on Dan Jones's mental toughness.
No.
That guy getting run out of town week 1 at the home opener, and then bounces back with 2 solid games
and lost
to lead the Giants to this victory here. Listen, we're getting a new quarterback next year. It's happening. But to see this guy just refuse to die, I have to respect it.
He's getting
So-
too much not to.
But Malik Neighbors is indeed the real story of the game here. But great game plan by Brian Dable and Shane Bowen to really respond. I mean, that's a season-saving type win. And, you know, we'll kind of go into Thursday, see if they could do the same thing against the Cowboys. But I mean, Deshaun Watson's just atrocious. I mean, just absolutely pitiful. It's leaked into the rest of the team, and Cleveland's just a pile of shit. So was very happy to see the Giants come in there and get a much needed win in the dog pound there in Cleveland.
Giants are still bad. I don't know what to tell you, dude. Giants are still bad. Giants are bad.
Listen, it's okay.
They're bad.
Great analysis, Dylan.
Great. They're just bad. Like, okay, you beat Cleveland. You lost to the Commanders. You got embarrassed by the Vikings, which fantastic game, by the way. I was at that game, laughing my ass off the whole time. It was absolutely fantastic. Me and Nick just sitting there, just laughing at the Giants, and then it was just, especially the Andrew Van Ginkel pick six. That was fantastic.
Unbelievable.
Oh, it was great.
Pete.
Just because the Giants beat the asshole toucher does not make Daniel Jones
The second coming of Christ.
any.
And I never said
There's no change.
Nobody said that.
Just because
It was implied.
the kid's not mentally tough. The guy is mentally not.
he's not mentally tough. What are we doing here? What are we doing here?
He does not even understand the fact that he's bad. He just comes out and just plays football. He's terrible.
Bad.
John beating the Cleveland Browns means absolutely nothing in the scheme of things. What it does is, you know what? It just took them a little bit further away from getting their quarterback in the draft. That's what Giants winning.
And those
Daniel Jones, you could thank him next year when Shador is a Giant and ruining the future of the Giants even further. You could thank Daniel Jones or our boy Dan Jones for winning a couple football games that he probably shouldn't be winning. So we could applaud the mental toughness all we want. We could do that, but what it is mental, and that's what it is.
He's just mad that Dan Jones has been the better quarterback than any of his Raider quarterbacks are so far.
No, listen, fucking plumb it down, baby. Carson Beck. Hello, Carson Beck. We'll take you.
Bust.
Whatever. Not any worse than what we got. It's no worse than Dan Jones.
I don't know about that.
So,
All right. I've had enough. I can't sit here anymore and listen to this praise for this loser. And shame on you, because guess what? 3 weeks ago, everyone was fucking trashing him because he is trash, right? He's worse than that dude Forky from Toy Story, right? I'm trash. He's terrible. He's fucking terrible. He's so bad, and the Giants are so bad. They don't even know that they're supposed to be losing. Because Pete's right. All we're doing is we're going to be mediocre enough to get us a fucking 14th overall pick, and we're going to pick fucking Cam Ward or some other fucking fraud, and we're going to be stuck in mediocrity for the next 5 to 6 years. That's what the Giants are doing. Dan Jones is terrible. All we have is the show of Malik Neighbors, who's going to be one of the best wide receivers in the NFL at some point in his career. He's going to be. He's an incredible talent. But guess what? Just like Saquon was, he's a wasted talent on a wasted team full of rejects and frauds. All right. What we've seen now is look at this, right? Week 1, we played the Vikings, who right now, if the season ended today, Sam Darnold would probably be MVP, and it's not even fucking close, right? What we saw Jaden Daniels do on Monday night against the Cincinnati team, and we'll get to that later, right? So now we've seen that the defense isn't that bad. So the defense showed up, and the Cleveland defense is finally showing that they're overrated and missing too many pieces. That's all this was, right? It's Giants players playing above the level that they're expected to play, and Cleveland playing way below what they're expected to play.
Sounds like they have a good coach then.
I think this is actually what we're seeing is Deshaun Watson's off the field troubles are finally starting to make the man crack, and he's not playing because he's too fucking distracted about what's going on outside of the field. That's what's happening. Dan Jones is trash. It should be Tommy DeVito running out of that tunnel every week until we draft a new quarterback. And that's what I said. I said what I said.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the former Giants fan, Ray Tremor. Newly Jet supporter, full-blown Cincinnati Bengals fan.
Yeah, I mean,
The
well,
Bengals
yeah,
are worse.
the Bengals are 0-3. Ouch. I mean, even the Giants are 1-2 at least. So,
We'll get there. We'll get
but
there.
yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with everything that you said. You know, towards the end, you said basically all the Giants have is hot trash. I somewhat agree with that. You know, I think they're a little better this year. I think they have a chance to be a little bit better this year. I agree with you about Cleveland. I think that Watson has a lot of things on his mind other than football because of there's a lot of smoke about this last allegation and what that's going to mean for him. And what'd you say, Pete?
I said assholes. That's what's on his mind. Assholes. He is the
this
big
guy
man of the NFL.
So it's either one of two things, right? It's either this guy really is still doing all this shit. You know, I don't know how old this allegation is, right? It's either that or the Browns they made a mistake giving him that contract, and now they're trying to get dirt on him to get him suspended so they don't have to pay him the rest of the contract.
Guaranteed.
There's also that angle too.
It's
Don't put it past them.
No. There are legal.
Don't put it past them.
There are legal loopholes out of it. Like if he were to go and commit murder, they'd be like, well, even if it is.
That's what I mean. Don't put it past them. If they can.
If he is,
I'm telling you, he's already guilty if this is an open and shut case, he would already be guilty in the eyes of the public. For everybody who's already seen this story, I'm sure he is. Right? Think about it. It's so easy. It's frightening. You could get this guy thrown out of the league right now. You could. So
I think
there's a really good chance that it's that. Yeah, he won't get paid, and that'll be that. All right, so that's the Browns. 100% agree. They're not looking good. Their season's off the rails. Giants. Okay. Do you like Daboll? Do you want Daboll to be here? Because if you do, then he's got to win games. Okay. The Giants cannot win 3 games this year and expect to go into next year with Brian Daboll as the coach. That's not going to happen. So if you do like Brian Daboll, then you should be rooting for wins and not the other thing that you're saying, Ray. You should be rooting for wins because that's the only way he stays. If he wins 3 or 4 games, they're not going to have a choice. They're going to revolt on this man, and the Giants are going to have to fire him.
I think it's too late. I think Brian Daboll, I think the ship has sailed. I do like Brian Daboll, but when it comes down to quarterback play or a coach, listen, the coaches, coaches and quarterbacks are a dime a dozen, right? But we can go out and get another coach who can make something out of nothing. We can't go and get a quarterback without the right situation. You know, you have to fall into that. You have to fall into the proper draft, frame to go get one. A coach, you can go hire who you want. You can pick who you want as a coach. You can't go out and say, well, I like this kid Carson Beck the best, so we're going to go get him. No, because he's probably going to be drafted in the top 5, and you're not going to get him, right? There's only so many quarterbacks. So right now, if Brian Daboll is the sacrificial lamb to make the Giants a better team, sorry, so be it. I agree with what Zach said 2 weeks ago. I want Joe Shane to stay. I would love to see Daboll stay, but I don't think, like you're saying, I don't think it's possible. Someone's got to go. At the end of this season, I think it's going to be someone's got to go. And
I don't think the Giants are winning 3 games.
What I'm saying is that why are so many Giants fans rooting for you guys to win, the minimal amount of games that you could possibly win?
because
with
it's
what you're going to put on the field.
The culture of New York, and you know this, the New York culture is sick. We demand so much than any other fucking team and area of the country, right? Like Patriots fans, Patriots fans are in this pit of misery right now, and they hate life because they tasted it so long and so much that now they're feeling it. And I think what they're seeing is the New York culture that's permanently here. We never accept mediocrity. We never accept anything less than the best. And right now, what the Giants are giving you in the past 5 years, this whole Daniel Jones era has been atrocious and just bad.
Yeah, it has been. Everything about it has been atrocious. I agree with you. Everything about it has been bad. Everything.
Yeah. There's not been one good aspect of New York Giants football in the past 5 years. Any bright spot we had flamed out and is now non-existent. And right now, you're looking at Malik Neighbors and this offensive line, and you're like, we could do something here. And the defense. We could do something, right?
So don't you want to compete in games right now?
We can't. We can't, dude. I mean, with Devin Singletary and one good wide receiver, we cannot compete. Look at what the Commanders did. And I hate to
we've been competing the last 2 weeks. I'm not really following here.
And I can't wait for the Giants to go on a string, win 6 games, and just completely fuck themselves.
Hey, if the Giants beat the Cowboys tomorrow, I can't wait to see Ray flip back into his.
I'm not gonna flip back. I'm not gonna flip back.
Ray Tremor flip back to the Giants this season. He is on the Jets bandwagon and full blown Cincinnati.
Nothing will change that. Are you on record? Nothing will change that.
As long as Daniel Jones
is the change that.
As long as Daniel Jones is the quarterback of the New York Giants, I will not support this team. I won't.
It's out.
Wow.
It's out there.
It's out there. It's official.
Wow.
It's official. This is immortalized right now.
Trust me, I have 2 beautiful new pristine jerseys. Sponsors, DH Gate shout out.
DH Gate. Phenomenal work, gentlemen.
Yeah. I have the Brian Burns and Malik Neighbors, and shout out to them because I ordered the Malik Neighbors before he changed his number, and it came in with the correct number on it. Shout out. But listen, I just, this kid is garbage. And how long are we going to drag through the mud this team with bad quarterback play? I'd have more respect for them to say, everybody knows, we're sitting here discussing future quarterback options. Like Daniel Jones is not going to be here next year because we're all pretty in line with that. I'd rather see you play Tommy DeVito or even Drew Lock, and just
he doesn't give you a better chance to win. I don't care how much you hate Daniel Jones. He does not give you a better chance to win over Daniel
Jones does not make the New York Giants a football. They did not make them a playoff team. He doesn't.
Now I have a question. If he's so bad, why the fuck was he re-signed? Why was he extended?
Terrible management. Terrible management.
So then,
and it was highlighted.
That's not on the coach. That's the general manager. He's the one.
It is on the coach. The coach wanted him back.
It's above the general manager.
Of course, the coach is going to say that.
What I saw,
Kevin O'Connell wanted Kirk Cousins back, but at the same time, it was like, he wanted him back, but at the same time, Kevin O'Connell's whole goal is to bring in someone new and raise him up to be the to be the face of the Vikings. Like Kirk Cousins is just going to give you the same shit. Like and thank God it's Atlanta's problem now. Thank God it's Atlanta's problem, because when they have to extend everyone coming off of these rookie deals, they're not going to be able to, because Kirk Cousins is making up 20% of the fucking salary cap to give you what? 9 fucking games? 9 games? Cool. Congratulations. Now you have to go to the postseason.
You might be onto something with that.
when it's 4th and 7, there's 30 seconds left, and your season is on the line and you are at home. What do? You throw the ball 2 yards down for a check down to your tight end. Boom. It's like, that's what $250 million got us over 6 fucking years. 2 playoff appearances and 1 playoff win. Really?
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
You hate to see it.
You
And you know
really
what?
do.
And we'll get to this when we talk about the Vikings because I got some shit.
He's very excited. So
But
we'll move on. We spent a decent amount of time. Clearly, there's major disagreements still between me and Ray.
I didn't even get to make my point.
What was your point?
So the point is getting rid of Brian Dable, I don't think is the solution. I think it starts with the general manager. I think he made either the Maras have to acknowledge that yes, he made a terrible decision, but okay, we'll let that slide. He's not gonna bat 1,000 every time. It's like, all right, he whiffed on this decision. Let's give them both another year, see what happens. But if all of a sudden they say they win 3 games or whatever, they get rid of Daniel Jones, they get the rookie quarterback, and then Brian Dable just can't make it work. I feel like that's when both of that's you got to hit the big red button on that one. Say fuck it and clean house at that point. Because
I'm actually pretty much in lockstep with you on that. The only thing I'll add is I don't blame Joe Shane completely for this disgusting contract. And what I took away from Hard Knocks was the fact that John Mara is intimately involved in football operations, and his antiquated crib keeper opinion is what's ruining this team.
Oh yeah, that's a whole nother thing with team management. Like prime example, look at the Panthers. The owner of the Panthers has way too much say. As an owner, you sit there, you write the checks. That's all you do. There's a whole reason why you have an entire staff. You have a head coach, you have a general manager, you have a vice president of football operations. You have all these people that you pay all of this money to do that, so I don't have to do anything. I just go to the games, live my luxurious lifestyle, and just reap the benefits of saying I own this team. That's it. That's all you have to say. That's all you should have to say. You shouldn't that is it. You pay these people, you let them do their jobs. Why am I going to pay you and then do your job for you? That one, that is a waste of money, and two, that's just I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
Yeah, well,
I don't get it.
Well done.
Well done.
Well done. Excellent. I like that. That was very
I don't get
that
it.
was a preview.
I don't get it.
Of the passion. I truly
I love the passion. It's amazing.
It was pouring out, wasn't it?
It was pouring out.
Yeah.
Next was Eagles and Saints. Philly escaped with a win thanks to Saquon Barkley and his 65-yard trot into the end zone. The Eagles are badly beat up. No A.J. Brown. Devonta Smith got a bad concussion in this game. All they have to throw to right now is Dallas Goedert and Saquon. But the fact that the Saints lost this game was absolutely despicable. Jalen Hurts had another 2 turnovers, and I was told that there was going to be no Derek Carr slander whatsoever. Here's the resurgence of Derek Carr.
No Derek Carr slander.
He was a gigantic pile of cow dung on Sunday.
So
He reverted back to being Derek Carr.
Yeah, he was just Derek Carr. Okay.
Yeah.
He was stuck at 45 passing yards for 3 fucking quarters.
It was a battle.
Holy shit.
Caleb Williams was better than that this
Oh,
weekend.
whoa.
Listen, there was a lot of quarterbacks better than fucking Derek Carr this weekend. So that's not saying
we can't all be perfect, but go ahead.
No, we all can't be perfect, but it was a travesty that the Eagles won that game. Shame on the Saints. Shame on Derek Carr. And it's all your fault. We gassed this guy up, and then there was no murderers in New Orleans because they were 2-0 riding high. As soon as Derek Carr crapped the bed, some motherfucker shot somebody last week. It was terrible.
Yo, could you imagine just like that's the crime in your town is like, oh shit.
And that is a fact, by the way.
There's gonna be a murder tomorrow.
Someone shot somebody in a grocery store. It was terrible, and it's Derek Carr's fault.
Whoa. Let's pump the brakes. Let's pump the brakes a little bit. I do not condone
thoughts and views expressed by some on this podcast are not the views expressed as a whole.
I don't care.
Continue.
I am not leaving.
And AOC for Prez, that could be very misleading, by the way.
Oh,
Why?
Speaking of controversial topic,
She can run
that's terrible.
eventually.
AOC.
Pizza.
Listen, shit happens. It was a battle of defenses. That game was dog shit for the majority of it. It happens. They're bound to lose the game. Carr will
It
rebound.
happens.
Mocking me.
Fuck, that guy's terrible. We'll see what he does this week. We'll see what he
No.
does this week.
I mean,
We'll see what he does this week.
at the same time, it's like
If Derek Carr was on the Giants, they would be a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah,
the fuck
yeah,
outta here.
okay. Dan Jones's stats are very similar to
They'd be a Super Bowl contender. I don't know what giant team you've been looking at, Pete.
Derek Carr is just the target version of Daniel Jones.
You love to hear it.
It's a slight upgrade, but not by much. That's like let me get either a Honda
Phil
Civic
Jones is the HEB
or like a
version.
Honda Civic
Oh.
Racer Edition.
There will be no.
There will
HEB
be no
slander on the
HEB
podcast.
slander.
I was about to
This
say that's a
podcast.
compliment right there. That's a compliment right there.
It wasn't meant as one.
Oh my god.
Raymond.
All right, listen. Derek Carr did come back down to earth and was Derek Carr again. I hate to see it, but Alvin Kamara is now banged up and they couldn't get it going. You need New Orleans, in all seriousness, New Orleans is nothing without the run game opening up the passing lanes for Derek Carr. The run game doesn't exist. Derek Carr comes back down to earth and we see
It lives
exactly
in that play action.
Exactly. Without that, Derek Carr does not perform. So Alvin Kamara gets banged up early in the game and is inefficient the rest of the game, and we see exactly what happens. Philly's nothing to shine a light at either. I mean, they are limping into the, luckily they got a bye week in 2 weeks, and they need to be begging for that because my God, they are decimated.
And it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Well, second most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
This was just a trash game, man. It was a bad game on all accounts. Saquon. There's gonna come a time where Saquon is gonna come back down to earth. I'm happy for him. I'm glad to see him succeed. But guess what? We all know us. The old Giants fans. We know what's gonna happen. It's coming. It's coming. You can forecast it every year. It's coming. So when that time comes, I will comment on that. But until then, good for him.
Right, and that's you for not saying what you're alluding to. So that's personal growth right there.
Growth. It's personal growth.
We appreciate.
I will say
on the show, we appreciate it.
I understand. I understand exactly where he wants to go with it, but he's being the better man.
Being better than that.
Yeah.
I will say the Jalen Hurts thing is that's intriguing to me.
26 turnovers. 26
All right.
turnovers.
Who called him being the turnover machine?
That guy.
This guy. This mustache right here.
Overrated as hell.
I think he has the capability to come back and be a top 10 quarterback. I'm not selling my stock on Jalen Hurts yet. And let me finish this up and Daniel can take the floor. I'm not selling my Jalen Hurts stock yet. I still think when you get AJ Brown back and Devontae Smith and that team is healthy, and I think by week 6 or 7, when it starts to gel after a bye week, we see what it's got. Until then, there's got to be something going on in the last 10 games to be that much of a turnover machine. The guy brought the team to a Super Bowl, and I'm not going to discredit him for that. He's a winner.
No,
but we'll see what's going on.
Yeah, he's a winner. He's 3-9 in his last 12.
What has Daniel Jones done? What has Daniel Jones done? 1 playoff win. Fuck out of here.
And that was against an Ed Donatel.
Daniel
defense.
Jones has done
One of
better
the
than
worst
Trevor
defenses I've ever
Lawrence,
seen in my life.
who, if everybody forgot, Trevor Lawrence was everybody's
We're not talking about T-Law right now.
second
Shush.
coming of John
Shush.
Elway and Andrew
Shush.
Luck or whatever.
Go back to
Listen,
the Eagles Saints. Shush.
The first step of loss is denial.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's go back to Eagles Saints.
Denial is not just a river
so-
in Egypt, young man.
So I really thought I was going to have to apologize to was Dennis Allen, because I thought that maybe he was just doing a great job getting that team turned around. And nope, it just turns out that Alvin Kamara, when he's healthy and he's right, can still carry that team. And having a guy like Derek Carr, who cannot operate a modern day offense, can only play action game, heavy run, should not be there basically shouldn't be any onus on him to carry a team. He's basically a game manager, especially at this point in his career. So it's not that, I don't like Derek Carr. I think Derek Carr is a good guy. I just don't think he's capable of doing what he did that one year with the Raiders, where he got hurt and he was everybody's MVP that year. He's not the same guy. I don't think he's ever going to be the same guy. I think it's been a confidence issue, a coaching issue, whatever you want to call it. For me, that's what I don't like about the whole situation with the Saints is I don't trust him. And when it comes down to a big moment, he's not going to be making the big play to advance them into anything. I really don't think so. So now to the Eagles. Yeah, I agree 100%, Ray, what you were saying. The whatever it was, coaching the last 10 games, confidence, just sometimes looking very disinterested in football. A lot of the Eagles players sometimes looking very disinterested in football, and now they've got a lot of guys hurt. The one guy you felt some promise from that game was Jalen Carter getting all heated up at the end of the game. That's exactly what you want to see.
He's a
If
thug.
that guy plays better mad, then figure out a way to make him mad before every game.
Just tell him
Because
he's going to
he
go to
could
jail
be that
tomorrow.
good.
Oh my God, you can't.
What? He should be in jail.
Dropping
Tell him
bombs, just dropping bombs,
He could be legally binded to.
he should be in jail. I don't care.
dropping bombs. Anyway,
Slander and defamation mean nothing to
Good.
you.
Free speech.
The-
Continue.
No,
Thoughts
the
expressed-
legal process
free speech
is
and
probably
slander and defamation.
the legal process has probably not fully played itself out yet, right? So I don't know. So all
Remember,
that's up in the
everything
air.
is
All I'm
alleged.
saying is that the Eagles, it does seem like something's missing. It really something is missing.
Good coach.
They had a sense of a sense of team when that team went to the Super Bowl, and everything that you saw that made that team good just seems to have gone out the window. Also, AJ Brown being that AJ Brown cannot be out. AJ Brown makes this offense go. Hurts is so much better with him, and it's not even funny. Just look at the numbers. He needs to be playing for the Eagles to be good and competing at the end of the year.
You had something to say about the Eagles real quick?
Oh, I had something to say about the Saints.
okay.
I kind of expected this with the Saints and between the Saints and the Eagles. People were like, "Oh my God, this is like the Derek Carr we expected," and things like. And I'm sitting there going, "Yeah, he put up a shit ton of points against the Carolina Panthers and a Mike Zimmer's Cowboys, who the last one of the times that Mike Zimmer played played Alvin Kamara." He scored 6 rushing touchdowns on Christmas. I remember that because that ruined my Christmas that year. And I was
That's interesting history
mad.
right there.
I was so mad they played the Saints on Christmas because I was like, this son of a bitch. So it's like I didn't really expect them to lose either games to say like the Saints offense is explosive, this, that, and the other thing. It's like, one, it was Mike Zimmer's Cowboys, which Mike Zimmer is
No bueno.
washed up. And
He
apparently,
used to be good.
yeah, no, he was until he wasn't.
Old.
He was until he wasn't. And it's like, I don't know. I just kind of expect this Saints team to settle down. I mean, I still think the Bucks win the division. Yeah, because
They're
Baker.
looking like the best team right now.
they granted,
Baker looks good.
that division is silly because, well, now that Andy Dalton is playing quarterback, it's a little less silly, but it's still somewhat silly. That division I feel like has become like pretty much the AFC South of 10 years ago, to where it's like if you won the AFC South, congratulations, you sucked the least. So you went to the playoffs. All you had to
There's
do
a
was,
lot of there's truth to that though.
like you just had to be less you had to be less shitty than the Texans, the Jaguars, and pretty much
The Titans.
and the
Kinda.
Titans, sort of.
Yeah.
Because then you also had like Andrew Luck mapped in there, but
Eh.
even then, like that wasn't like a complete team. It was just kind of it was just Andrew Luck and everybody else.
Yeah, that's true.
So it was like the Saints team. I didn't really expect, like, it was like, wow, they put up a lot of points. But then when you really think about who they put those points up against, you were like, oh,
So you're saying they're pretenders?
oh yeah,
Ooh.
no, that like this is some 13-4 Vikings and Donatel defense type shit, to where it was like, except instead of the defense being fake, the offense is fake.
Frauds.
Frauds.
Frauds. You heard it
Frauds.
here. Fraudulent.
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 Allegedly.
Allegedly. Next game, the Peace State Resistance of Mr. Atala's appearance here. Texans in Minnesota. It is on record in the last episode. I was the only one that picked the Vikings to win this game here at home. I saw +4.5 underdogs at home. That ain't sitting right with me. I rode the Vikings, and they beat the ever living shit out of the Texans. I know CJ Stroud is Pete's pick for winning MVP this year. I don't agree. I don't think it's going to happen. I think another quarterback has that pretty much locked up, and we'll talk about him later.
We're 3 weeks in. We're
I
not
don't
locking.
care. I don't care.
I agree with Pete. We're not
Oh.
apologizing, and we're not locking anything up yet.
Well, I'm not apologizing for what I just said.
Zach, don't bring that
Fine.
juju in my house.
The Vikings won 34-7. Sam Darnold, 4 touchdown passes. The Vikings defense leads the league in sacks right now. Brian Flores is having a career resurgence as the defensive coordinator in Minnesota. Sam Darnold, another career resurgence in Minnesota. Kevin O'Connell is the easily early favorite for coach of the year, in my opinion. But with all that being said, we will send this over to the resident Vikings fan, Mr. Hatala.
All right, I'm going to have to come down from my metaphorical ivory tower for a second to talk to the peasants. All right. So, as I told Mr. Daniel when he was when he was placing the bets, to take the under. Now, I figured Minnesota would still lose that game, but they would have lost 17 to like 14. I didn't expect them to still almost cover the spread.
Oh, the hat's off.
Although, except I didn't expect Minnesota to put up 34 points and Houston to only put up 7. Like, this was a homecoming game it was a homecoming game for Daniil Hunter, who was pretty much a non-factor in that game. Fantastic. That was such a fun game to watch. Especially this season, to where it's like by the fourth, like late third, early fourth quarter, I can just sit back and just enjoy the rest of the game. I'm not sitting on the edge of my seat every single week in and week out, sometimes in the postseason, which I don't know why, because they're just going to lose anyway. So what's the point of that? But it's just nice to watch them just win games and just not have to worry about it. And if you look up a complete football team right now, the way that team is going, like, that team is complete. Like, they are firing on all cylinders on offense. They're firing on all cylinders on defense, because a lot of people, especially people that were like, oh, Kirk Cousins is gone, that team's going to be ass. Defense, Daniil Hunter is gone, that team is going to be ass. Even though you asked anybody that knew anything about football, that edge room got better in the postseason, even though we lost Daniil Hunter. Special teams, oh my God, this is the first time in 15 years plus of being a Vikings fan where I think our kicking troubles are behind us. I finally think we found, like, the kicking, because I mean he is perfect right now. He is perfect. I mean, he kicked that 58-yard field goal, and I'm sitting there going like, oh my God, we have a kicker. Oh my God, we have a kicker. And our offense isn't winning by 1-score games. Because before this season, the last time the Minnesota Vikings beat a team by more than 2 score was against the Chargers in 2019. That was the last
Been a
time,
while.
because a certain someone who was very expensive wouldn't play football like that. I don't know why he wouldn't, but he wouldn't. He would be like, okay, we're up by 10 points. It's time to play conservative football. And then all of a sudden he's going on like 5 straight 4-and-outs, and then the defense gets gassed. And then next thing you know, they're down by 1 score, and the opposing team has the ball and they're marching down the field. And then it's like, okay, if they score, then we got to go march down the field. And it's like, I don't need this. I don't need this. I didn't pay, my team didn't pay for this. My team paid for you to absolutely obliterate the other motherfuckers. Not win by 1 score with 5 seconds left in the fucking game. Or a fucking ball up to Justin Jefferson, who ever since his rookie season, I will continue to say this. As long as Justin Jefferson is not injured, he's going to the Pro Bowl every year. Every year. The only thing that will stop him from going to the Pro Bowl every year is if he's injured. And I've said this.
The Randy Moss effect.
The Randy Moss effect.
I will continue to say this too. He is the best wide receiver in the league. He is the best. There's a reason why he should make the most money. And Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, and all these people saying, "Oh, I want to get paid more than Justin Jefferson," and I'd be like, "No, no, no, no."
He gets
Why?
nothing.
Like why? Why should we? And week 1 we massacred the Giants again. Fantastic game. I enjoyed that so much. People I was with, they didn't enjoy it as much as I did, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah, that defense, just what Brian Flores has done is just amazing.
Well, I think that's the story. I think other than Sam Darnold, right? It's got to be what Flores has been doing with that defense.
Well, so when he was I think if we had him as our defensive coordinator in KOC's first year as head coach, I honestly think that team wins a Super Bowl. But because of Ed Donatel and just being the shitty motherfucker that he was, that it just didn't happen. But especially last week when he had UPS drivers pretty much as a defense, and he was just making it work. I mean, last year they led the league in blitzes. I think they were blitzing on 60% of the snaps of defensive snaps because they had nothing else. He was just like, all right, I have to make this work. And now this past offseason, since again we're not going to say his name, since we're not paying all that money to who, they were actually able to go out and do some shopping, and it's like, oh yeah, okay, so I can't get like the super luxurious model, but let me get like the model below that, and then we'll just except I can get a whole bunch of them, and then guess what? You have a complete fucking team.
There we go.
So you think this team is going to go how far, Dylan?
If they keep playing like they're playing, and this is like the early part of our schedule is supposed to be the hard part of our schedule. Keep that in mind. Because then after that, you're talking, we play the Colts, the Jaguars, the Bears twice, but yeah. Then we play the Lions, we play the Packers, but then other than that, we're playing the AFC South and a couple other teams. I think
So the schedule dictates that you guys should win a lot of games and make a deep run.
If this team just keeps firing on all cylinders like they have, yes. And the best part is that this was the fuck it year. This was the fuck it, let's see what happens year. Like this wasn't even the plan. The plan was let's just see what happens. And then this is what happens. And it's beautiful. I'm so happy. It's the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Pete,
So is Sam Darnold the guy? That's
That's what I want to know.
That's
Okay.
what I want.
All right.
That's
So I'm gonna put this to bed right now. I'm gonna put this to bed right now. I think next year Sam Darnold will be a starting quarterback. Full stop. He will be a starting quarterback. I don't know where, but it won't be in Minnesota. Because the plan is still JJ McCarthy. They moved off of the expensive contract. They did not want the expensive contract anymore. They now have a rookie contract. If Kevin O'Connell was able to do this with Sam Darnold, can you imagine what he can do with someone he helped? He was involved in the process of handpicking. Like there was a reason why he picked Sam Darnold in free agency to begin with. But now, he saw JJ McCarthy. I mean, granted, they wanted Drake May, but you can't always get what you want. Meh. But he saw JJ McCarthy. He liked what he saw in JJ McCarthy to enough to where they called up the Jets and said, we're moving up. And the fact that they also got Dallas Turner is just amazing. So that draft, the 2020 draft, the 2022 draft, we don't talk about. That was a whiff. Missed. Total miss. We're done with that. But the 2024 draft, even though they had 5 picks, I mean, granted, God rest his soul, Kyrie Jackson, that kind of sucked, but
Yeah, that sucked.
shit happened.
That was definitely a horrible thing.
Yeah. But and just, I don't know, especially the adversity that this team has gone through just in the offseason to where everybody counted them out. I mean, Vegas had them winning 6 games this year, 6.5 games, and they're already 3-0. And it's not like they're 3-0 and they put up these numbers against the Jaguars, the Panthers, and the Browns. Like they played heavy hitters in this league. Like teams that we consider to be Super Bowl contenders or expect to make a deep run into the playoffs. I mean, hell, they embarrassed one of them. As a matter of fact, that stadium was so loud, Laramie Tunsil had five false start calls. When was the last time you've ever seen an offensive tackle have, just alone, one offensive tackle have 5 false starts?
I don't know. That guy from the Chiefs is pretty fucking bad. So,
So
Yeah, he's led the league.
So to answer the question, JJ is still the guy.
Oh,
JJ
McCarthy
is the guy.
Is still the guy. I think Sam Darnold will either the situation with Tennessee, maybe Tennessee, the situation with Miami is up in the air because who knows? I knew Tua was going to get knocked stupid by week 4. I called it at their fantasy draft. I was like, I don't know why you have Tua. He's going to be knocked stupid by week 4. Sure enough, week 2, we watched it. He started throwing up gang signs, and I'm like, oh, yep, he's stupid. So
Dylan, are you saying, hold on a second, Sam Darnold's playing really well right now. You're saying he won't be a Viking next year?
No. Why would he be?
So what he's on pace to do this year compared to what you've been seeing, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, Kirk Cousins he's had good years, right? But you're seeing a really, really proficient year with little to no mistakes. So if he stays on pace with that,
okay,
what does it matter that JJ McCarthy's on the roster? You have a starting quarterback then at that point.
But the other guy's on a rookie scale contract, and not only that,
you're not paying Darnold anything.
I know, but if
they're gonna have to pay him. That's
and we already moved off of the big scale contracts. That's why we re-signed Christian Darrisaw. We were able to sign JJ. We were able to do all these moves in free agency. And next year we're supposed to be top 5 projected cap space, so we can go out and complete the team even more. Why
I understand. I understand we think the coach is really good and that he could duplicate this, but hold on a second. If Sam Darnold turns out to be a really good quarterback, okay, and he looks like a really good quarterback right now, why would you let this guy out the door? I don't care that McCarthy's on his rookie deal. Let his ass sit there. If you think you have a player with Darnold, keep him and let him keep playing until he stops playing like this. How could you do anything else? Anything else wouldn't make any sense.
It's a good problem to have.
Sure, you do.
It really is.
You let him walk, and then wherever he signs, you get a compensatory pick.
A compensatory pick isn't going to mean anything if you're letting all that production just walk out the door.
If he makes a deep run in the playoffs, if he makes a deep run in the playoffs, wins MVP, and then he goes and signs with some other team, we might get the second round compensatory pick. Who knows? The fact of the matter is, look what everyone thought of Sam Darnold before he got here. You think he just all of a sudden something just clicked in it, like something just clicked? No.
Why not? He was the backup with the 49ers last year. He's had some good experience on some good offensive coaching staffs in the last couple of years.
Okay. That's perfectly fine. But at the same time, it's like you don't need to pay him.
So he's a McCarthy guy. He wants to see McCarthy.
Like, no, it's a simple question to answer. It's like
so you're afraid to pay another quarterback, essentially.
No, it's Sam Darnold. That was fun. No, because the plan is JJ McCarthy is the guy. Kevin O'Connell would not have picked him and drafted him if he did not think the kid is the guy.
That doesn't mean that McCarthy can't sit next year.
Why would I waste? It's bad enough we lost 1 year on his rookie deal. Why waste 2?
Let him sit there and learn. You see what happens to these young quarterbacks that get chewed up and spit out. Okay, very few of them are good. Jaden Daniels looks like a real player. Other than him, who's real from this quarterback class? Nobody's shown anything yet.
Well, first off, did we really think the Bears were going to be anything special? Like when was the last time the Bears have developed a quarterback?
I mean, I'm on record on this podcast saying that I don't like Caleb Williams, so I didn't think much of the Bears this year.
I know, but
me neither.
But everyone else was like, everyone was touting that, this Bears team is going to give the Lions a run for their money, and then yes, Pete.
Yeah, you know what? Let's get these guys in. Very impassioned monologue that Dylan has held in probably for 2 years. So
I'm not paying another fucking quarterback. That end story. We're done with that. We're done with that.
And there's your answer, Dan. Pete is up. We're moving on here.
I'm gonna go give water.
I'm gonna defer to Ruben.
I'm gonna defer to Dano. We've spent so much time on this. Let's keep it rolling.
We've already spent a lot of time. Let's move on.
Understandable. He needs water, as you can tell.
Mm-hmm.
Next, Broncos, Bucks. This was a very sloppy game by the Buccaneers. Broncos, Bo Nix looked like a pretty decent quarterback in this game here. Carved up Todd Bowles' horrendous defense, as Dan loves to point out. But Sean Payton and Bo Nix got a much-needed win there down in Tampa Bay, and Baker kind of had a rough one. He had a rough one that didn't really get Mike Evans involved, and
it was called on this podcast that Patrick Surtain locked him down.
Yeah.
Put the shackles on him. That was Ray Tremor on the call right there. And I mean, Godwin, he had a game. So the ball went elsewhere, but Baker couldn't get it done.
Yeah, I mean that game is exactly how it went, exactly how I expected it to go, minus Bo Nix absolutely balling out in the beginning of the game. I think the Bucs defense got exposed, and listen, I know there's a lot of Bo Nix slander on this podcast, but
a lot of Bo Nix slander. He's a piece of shit.
The kid is showing some decent signs of playing good football.
That's the guy that Sean Payton really wanted.
That's true.
I think he's got talent, and I think he's going to develop into something as a mid-level guy, maybe even more. But I like Bo. I like seeing him do his thing, especially with that dog shit team around him, and he's still able to make good passes, make good decisions, and hell, he's already better than 5 or 6 of the veterans from last year. So good for him.
Hot dog.
Yeah, the Bucs are fun to watch. I mean, you have two, they're both hurt this week, so that's going to be interesting. They're both limited in practice today. Evans and Godwin are great, but when you have a lockdown corner, one of them is always going to have the better game. So, as expected.
Yeah, like Zach said, I mean, and I want to see more of Bo Nix. I think that there might be something there with him, but I think only time will tell still. But yeah, Todd, for me, the Bucks, the story with the Bucks is their coach. I think their quarterback could take them to special places. The quarterback can. I think the coach is really going to hold them down. I'm not a big fan at all in Todd Bowles. They're a very inconsistent team. One week you'll get them showing up and they'll blow somebody's doors out, and then the following week the worst team in the NFL comes into their building and they lose. Right? It doesn't make any sense. What that to me is a sign of a badly coached team.
True.
And their defense gets way too much love for how mediocre they are week in and week out. And Baker and those receivers to me are the best part of that team, and they'll go as far as those guys could take them. Outside of that, and
Let 'em cook.
they have a really good running back, a young running back, Irvin or something like that. This outside of a few players, they really don't have much. So I think this is what you're going to see from the Bucks all year.
Yeah. More than likely. Next, we had Packers Titans, and the Packers game plan right now is just use Malik Willis as another running back, and they're just running the ball like crazy with him and Josh Jacobs, and they're just racking up points that way. And Tennessee Titans are 0-3, looking pretty much like a bottom feeding team this year.
That's what happens when your starting quarterback likes mayonnaise in his coffee.
The
Bingo. Bango.
truer words couldn't have been spoken, in all honesty, and that's pretty much what the Titans are. They're
like, how was that not the scouting report? Like, if I saw that, I'd be like, yeah, no, we're good. I don't want that dude on my team. No, I don't need to vomit every morning I see this dude.
Fuck the mayo eater. He's
Bro, what the like? It's
3
bad.
weeks in a row. He's a meme.
Mhm.
Like, it's bad when there are just memes of your coach. Well, not only is your coach kind of throwing you under the bus a little bit, but when there are memes of your coach on the sidelines going, "What the fuck are you doing?" You fucked up. Like, you fucked up. Let's call a spade. Like, you fucked up. Especially watching like the previous guy go off and just be extremely successful in your face.
Yeah, that's rough.
Like that's like breaking up with someone, and then all of a sudden, like there you are, just stewing in loneliness, and then they're just off to somebody else, and you're like, damn, how dare they have so much fun? And you're just sitting there, just cross-armed, like just mean mugging it, like, man. But you thought mayo coffee was better, so
Joke's on them.
hate to see it.
Raymond?
Yeah, the Packers are good, man. The Packers are a good team. Another unexpected team that everybody called saying wasn't going to be great, and they're just pounding the rock. Good problems to have when your main quarterback is down and your backup is performing at an efficient rate and winning you games. I love it. I think you're going to see a dual quarterback kind of situation go on the rest of the year. Even when Jordan Love comes back, I think you see Malik Willis as a weapon that's used more and more often. So again, good problems to have. Yeah, the Titans are just trash. They're trash all around. There's nothing good there, and they'll be a top 5 pick at the end of the year without a doubt.
Yeah, I totally agree about the Titans. What interests me is that the national media hasn't spoken about this guy at all yet, and he may be doing the best coaching job, under the radar coaching job the last several years, and that's Matt LaFleur. I mean, whatever this guy has on the team, he's made work, and they win games every year. and we don't give this guy any credit. We don't talk about him. It's almost as if he doesn't exist. So I think it's time to start giving this guy some credit. I think he's done some really good, nice things building that team, doing what he can with what he has, because he's not in control of all of it. I think a lot of us would agree. I mean, I'm of the opinion that Gutekunst isn't a great GM. He's a good GM. He gets them what they need. And just really never went that extra step to build them the dynasty that they should have had. And I think that's how people look at their situation and with the executives. But yeah, Matt LaFleur, I'm starting to be a big believer in Matt LaFleur.
And the Packers
he doesn't get the credit because of having Aaron Rodgers for those years, but
And that's fair.
What he did last year with a guy that you didn't know what you were going to be with Jordan Love, and now this year, Love is down, doing what he can with Malik Willis right now and just hammering the rock right now. Yeah, he very underrated.
Just watching Sunday Countdown and hearing people, the people on there picking the games, and nobody's picking the Packers to win that game because we've seen Malik Willis. We know what he looks like. And they go out there and they put together the perfect game plan for that kid.
All right.
Hey, man, you can be the best shovel on planet Earth, but if someone tries using you like a rake, it's not going to work.
It's a very interesting analogy. I appreciate it. Bears
also news: Aaron Judge, 57 home runs.
57.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 9-7 right now. Interesting. Bears Colts. The Caleb show.
Yeah.
Went into Indianapolis to play the Anthony Richardson show. And both those shows stink.
Mediocrity Bowl.
So the Colts won on the back of Jonathan Taylor. Caleb Williams had like 363 passing yards, had his first touchdown to Rome Odunze, showed a little bit of an improvement this week. But, Anthony Richardson is still so raw. He has so much to learn still. I don't really believe in him as an accurate passer. We'll have to see. But Colts kind of took a pretty boring one. Not too much to say about this one.
Like, what did Anthony Richardson expect? Some rookie of the year type shit? Oh, I get shoulder surgery. And now all of a sudden, like, I have a rubber band for an arm and I'm just throwing the ball. Like, bro, you got to be able to aim the shit. I'm just saying. Like, yeah, you can
gotta aim.
You can throw it far, but guess what? If the hash on the sideline catches the ball, that doesn't count.
Yeah, he's hella inaccurate, and he's making a guy like Michael Pittman just taking him completely out of the game. Michael Pittman was one of the best wide receivers in the entire NFL last year, and guess what? He's still on the milk carton. There's a lot of milk cartons going around still. And he's one of them. Jonathan Taylor is the glue to that team right now. They need to rely heavily on him. If he's not getting 20 to 25 carries a game, that is a gross misjustice of using him. The Bears, they pulled one away. Caleb threw a fucking ton. Odunze this was his first game where he looked like the guy that they compared to Neighbors and Marvin Harrison Jr. coming out. So that was cool to see. I think this week they're saying Keenan Allen, he's ramping up. He might be able to play this week. So who knows what may lie. I'm still not sold on Caleb, and I am selling heavily Anthony Richardson until he can get his accuracy together. And I don't know if he ever is going to be able to do that. But you can't we've said it a million times on this pod, you can't rely on your athleticism to bail you out 100% of the time. Eventually, you're going to have to be a quarterback and throw the ball. So where that may lie, I mean, the Colts on paper should have an explosive offense, but when your quarterback can't quarterback, that becomes the problem.
It's an issue.
Yeah, I mean, Pete just said it really well. Caleb, fraud, been saying it all along. He stinks. The Bears are hurting right now. You know, Rome is hurt. Keenan Allen getting hurt obviously creates big problems. But you know, this offensive line is just it's atrocious. It's Swiss cheese. This kid's running for his life every play, and his personality is just dog shit to me, and makes me absolutely despise him as a player. So that's my fuel for really not liking him, and I'm not upset about seeing him struggle. Anthony Richardson, you know, I'm not surprised by all this. We called him, the Cam Newton 2.0, and sure enough, he's starting to look just like Cam did on his downslide, just a lot faster. But you can't play with that big body the way you want to play, and you know he's starting to. Well, I think what we're seeing in Anthony Richardson is the struggle and style change. When you know you could play that way in college because you were the big boy on the field, and you were moving the fastest, hitting the hardest, and you could play that way with your body physically. Well, we all know when you get to the big leagues, you can't play that way. It doesn't compute, doesn't translate. So now Anthony Richardson is trying to figure out the balance of how do I become a long-lasting starter in the NFL, and I don't think he has the talent to do so. Luckily, Jonathan Taylor exists and is on the Colts, or else they would be bad. But you have talent there. You have Michael Pittman, you have Adonai Mitchell, and these guys are playmakers. But without the rest of everything clicking, it's not going to happen. So that's a bit of a shame.
Yeah, you pretty much hit exactly what I was going to say on the head. I don't like what's happening with either quarterback. AR-15's got some serious accuracy issues and is so raw that it's going to take some time for him to look like a quarterback, and it's not going to happen overnight. Caleb Williams, I'm not sure he'll ever look like an NFL starting quarterback because of what's up here. Okay. AR-15 hasn't given me any kind of indication that he's weak up here, but Caleb has. And that's been a big red flag for me since the jump, since the draft, going back even before the draft. And
when he
I still don't like it.
His mom, you were all over it, saying that he is not mentally built to be a quarterback in the league.
No.
Imagine if he played in New York.
He thinks things are rough in Chicago where they've never had a quarterback. I mean, like, give me a break, dude. You go to LA, you go to Dallas, now you go to New York, you go to Miami, where you go to a lot of cities that have had success at the quarterback position in this game. You know, you try what you're doing now on those teams, and especially like Ray said, you try doing some of this shit and saying some of this shit in the New York market, and they are gonna tear you up and spit you out. You have no shot in hell with that mentality. No shot in hell. All the stuff with him at the end of the game with CJ Stroud, what a punk. You know, what a little freaking punk this kid is. I can't dislike him anymore after that shit. So I hope he fails. I hope he falls flat on his ass, and maybe he'll learn from it. Maybe he'll grow up and turn into a football player. Right now, he's a baby.
I also don't understand like what Chicago's move was, keeping Matt Eberflus to develop Caleb Williams. Like, first off, you're bringing in pretty much a whole new offense in Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze. So what makes you think that this dude that hasn't done anything with anybody on the team is going to bring in these two young guys and help develop the offense? First off, he's a defensive minded head coach, number one. And number two, like I don't understand. And it's like look what he did with Justin Fields. And you can say everything you want about Justin Fields, but I mean, like numbers aren't gonna lie. Look what he's doing. Look what he's doing in Pittsburgh. All of a sudden he goes to Pittsburgh and he's balling out in Pittsburgh. I don't think it's a Justin Fields thing. That's
Agree.
So I'm glad you brought up
Agree.
Fields. Do you think now, in retrospect, right now, that
it's always been the Bears.
have buyer's remorse right now, not holding on to Fields, and then they could have still got a Dunze or whatever wide receiver they wanted, Malik Neighbors they could have gotten, and then they could have got Joe Alt.
Oh,
Oh
absolutely.
my God, the key to that draft for the Bears, and I'm sorry to cut you off, Dylan, is exactly what you're saying, Pete. They had the golden ticket. Let somebody else make the mistake of picking this kid. Let somebody else make that mistake and gain like a Herschel Walker size package in a trade for that pick. And now you're talking the Bears are set up for years. They look like shit right now.
They could have done what they did to the Panthers.
They signed so many players and Roma Dunze, blah, blah. No. This is, if you're a Bears fan, if I'm a Bears fan right now, I'm throwing up all over the place. Okay? Because they really had a chance in April to do something special. Okay? They could have let somebody else make that mistake and take that kid there and pay him that money. Instead,
the Panthers again.
Exactly. There were teams I'm sure there were teams that would have traded up for him. Are you kidding?
I mean,
everybody was falling over themselves for this kid. I didn't understand it.
Would have been
But half the league was falling over themselves for this
what
kid.
Minnesota was willing to do for the 3rd overall pick, but New England was like, "No, we're good. We're taking Drake May." So
yeah,
like I don't understand that, and we'll get to the whole Patriot thing when we get there. But it's like I never understood all the hype, like before the season even started, when people were saying, "Oh, this is going to be the team that competes with the Lions." It's like we never saw either. Like you're talking what is supposed to be their number one wide receiver and their starting quarterback. We have seen neither of them play a single game of football yet. We don't know if this team's good, and we're just like, "Oh yeah, this is going to be the team that competes with." Like, no, stop it. Because if you look at the history of the Bears, at what point in the Bears franchise in the history of their franchise, have they ever been able to develop a quarterback?
That's never happened.
You can even look back. I would even say, look back the past 30 years. When was the last time the Bears developed a quarterback?
It's never happened.
I mean, they had some success with Cutler, but he was already a made guy at that point.
Yeah, he wasn't raw. He wasn't.
Yeah, no,
raw
he wasn't. He wasn't someone that they got. It was Matt. It was because Matt Daniels is Matt Daniels, and said, "Jay, you're out of here because I want to turn this into the Patriots 2.0 for the 8th time in my fucking career."
Speaking of Justin Fields, that's actually a perfect segue. Charger Steelers in the Steel City. Justin Herbert is hurt right now. And when Justin Herbert is hurt, the Chargers usually don't play too well, even with Jim Harbaugh taking the reins for the team. The Chargers are playing inspired football, even with Herbert playing really hurt right now. But the Steelers at home, no matter who is there, is a tough out. Mike Tomlin is one of the best coaches of our lifetimes. Justin Fields is really turning it around there in Pittsburgh. TJ Watt in the defense just was all over Justin Herbert. Joe Alt just could not withstand what was happening with how good he is. The Steelers at home is just different. Steelers are 3-0, one of the few undefeated teams left in the league. And it's Steel City might be legit, man.
Iron sharpens iron, baby.
I mean, that's like that's Mike that's typical Mike Tomlin for you. Like Mike Tomlin just wins. Like he wins. That's what he does. It like the as long as Mike Tomlin is the head coach, that team is never going to go below 500. It just doesn't happen.
He's putting on a coach of the year master class right now. I mean, Justin Field. I mean, when Russell Wilson comes back, this is Justin
Not coming
Fields.
back. He's not coming back. Justin, I think that's Justin Fields' plane. I think he is flying that plane. I feel like Mike Tomlin trusts him to take over with that. I think Russell Wilson is done. This is either the last year. Maybe he might get something out of some other team next year as just a 1-year backup, and then after that, I think he's done. He's going to be like one of those quarterbacks that just hung around way too long. And instead of just going off gracefully into the sunset, he's going to crash and burn, and people are just going to remember the crash and burn. I think that's what's going to be Russell Wilson's legacy.
Yeah, but you can't say. I mean, I don't know about that because dude's going to be how many? One fucking Super Bowl.
He's probably going to the Hall of Fame.
He's a Hall of Famer. Ray's get going right now. Ray, what do we got going on down there?
Car accident.
Oh, okay. What does Ray think of the Steelers and Chargers?
I think the Steelers defense keeps them a viable team, and Mike Tomlin is one of the greatest coaches of our generation. I still think Justin Fields is poo, and it's just a play. Yep. So I'm gonna run out while you guys finish this up. I'm gonna leave myself. I'll be back. So you guys do this, and I'll be back. Chargers. Yeah, with Justin Herbert out, it's open season on the Chargers. Fade the Chargers, fade the Panthers. I'll be back.
Okay. Daniel.
Yeah, Herbert not being healthy going into that game, it was like almost an automatic W for the Steelers for me. I think that Harbaugh is doing a great job. He's coaching the Chargers up well. That's just a tough spot. And you don't have your franchise quarterback healthy in that spot, you're not going to win.
Requested on Interstate 280 eastbound by exit 15 for motor vehicle accident.
Tyler.
Police on scene. Again, it's going to be Interstate 280 eastbound by exit 15.
So next we had Dolphins Seahawks. That was amazing.
That was amazing.
Dolphins Seahawks was next. I mean, Skylar Thompson's just not an NFL quarterback. I mean, the Dolphins, I don't know why they got rid of Mike White. I thought that was a big time mistake because there's no way you can convince me Skylar Thompson's better than Mike White. And I mean, the Dolphins just can't even operate their offense with this guy. So with that being said, the Seahawks just were able to play normal football and beat the Dolphins. The Dolphins actually have not led a single second for any game so far this year. So they're another team that's hit by injuries. And Tua not being there for a while is a problem. Mostert's already not healthy. So you may have to fade the Dolphins here for a while. And the Seahawks kind of just came in and just took care of business.
I mean, you're the Dolphins at this point. You don't know what's going to happen with Tua. You might want to call the Pittsburgh Steelers up and see what's up with old Russell Wilson. I mean, kick the tires on him. Without a quarterback, Miami is going to go nowhere.
Ryan Tannehill's available.
I was gonna say I'd be like, hey Ryan, you want to come back for one last hurrah with us? You could also retire a Dolphin. Yeah.
You just wonder what terms did he leave?
Yeah, that's also true.
It could have been bad, yeah.
But it's like I said before the season even started, I was like, Tua's gonna be knocked stupid by week 4. No surprise, he got knocked stupid.
Durability, man.
And I mean, I honestly think after this one, we need to open up the conversation of is he still playing next year, or is it just something to where it's like, am I going to keep playing football, or am I going to end up as a vegetable? Like how many times can you get knocked stupid before your brain just gives up?
I think with that contract, he'll play until they tell him he can't play anymore. That's what I think.
You know what?
Probably right.
And-
Collecting paycheck.
And
Collecting
like
the
with
paycheck.
Mike McDaniels, I like what Mike McDaniels has done with that offense, but everyone's saying it's like, oh yeah, Mike McDaniels is this great quarterback or this great coach and things like that. It's like, I mean, even Kevin O'Connell was able to win with Josh Dobbs and Nick Mullins and fucking Jaron Hall as his backups, and like this guy, he can't get Skylar Thompson to do fuck all.
Well,
All right,
Skylar Thompson isn't an
Great
NFL quarterback.
that's a great point, though. Just shows the value, truly, of Tua to the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah,
That
it does.
That's fine, but if every week
without Tua as the quarterback.
that's fine, but like if every week before the game you're going, oh god, is this the game he gets knocked stupid? Is this the game he gets knocked stupid? Is this the play he gets knocked stupid?
I listen. I guess as a Dolphins fan, you just have to be like, hey, we know that this guy's good enough when he's healthy. We just have to hope he stays healthy. That's it.
I think
That's all you have.
I think
That's a risk to assume.
Yeah, I just think if you knew this was going to happen, or there was even a possibility, how do you not have a backup quarterback ready to roll? Like, how do you?
That's the problem I have with
That-
it.
Yeah,
is
that's
that
the problem.
That's what I was getting at. Is like, how can you let Mike White walk, but then keep Skylar Thompson on your roster and go, yep, this guy is better.
It
And
doesn't.
Watching, they got to watch firsthand, like up close, the Jets ordeal last year with Rodgers going down 4 snaps into the season and not having a backup quarterback on a team that you've built up that is supposed to be a contender.
ready to win.
Well, that's just
The
like
Dolphins.
that's
The
just like,
Dolphins score enough points, they could win games. They can't do that without their quarterback. And as long as he's out, fade the Fins every week. They're not a good team without him. They're just not.
that's like when Sam Darnold went down last week and gave me a fucking heart attack. That was the most angry I've ever gotten at a sporting event, because I was just like, I can't have shit. This was going so well, and then it just turned.
You don't even want him back next year. Why do I care?
I want him to do good now, so that this way he can get $50 million from another.
Even if he does good, you don't want him back, and you don't want to pay him. So I don't care.
That's fine.
Moving on.
He's on the team right now.
Moving on.
Next year he's not. On the-
We're not going back to that. Moving on. We made our points for that one. We next Panthers Raiders.
We're gonna beat your ass in London, though. Take that, Dan.
Oh, okay, all right. Well,
Panthers
we'll see.
Raiders. The benching of Bryce Young seems to be the correct decision. 37-year-old, the Red Rifle, Andy Dalton, got another opportunity and dropped 300 yards and 3 touchdowns in 1 half. And the Raiders defense did not have a good afternoon. Antonio Pierce did not have a good afternoon. Pete Schmidt did not have a good afternoon.
The worst part of that game was Adam Thielen going up the IR.
You really hate to see things like that.
You hate to see shit like that.
Pete has the floor with this one.
I knew it. I knew it. They announced Andy Dalton as the quarterback, that the Raiders were going to go out and do some Raider shit like they did when they lost to Jeff Saturday, who was coaching fucking bums on in a back alley in Indianapolis, and they brought Saturday in and they got thumped. Just like the Raiders last year went and lost to a Luke Getsy coached division -1 double AAA fucking quarterback that had a Wawa smock on and got blown out. I knew
Quarterback are we
that
referring to?
Old Man River with that fucking beautiful orange coif. I knew Andy Dalton was gonna go banana lands against the Raiders, and
I bet the
only
Panthers
quarterback-
money line.
he is the only quarterback this year to throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns in a game. Andy Dalton.
Smock.
That's so funny.
So, like I said, it was fun for two games to watch fucking the Fu Manchu with the long, dirty hair running around trying to make a play at quarterback. He's not it. Aiden O'Connell probably is not it, but you know what? It's time. DH Gate got me the jersey. Fucking make the move. AOC, put him in, ride out the season, see what you fucking got. Because you know what? Minshew, next to Anthony Richardson, Minshew is not that accurate either. He made some poor fucking decisions. And you know what? They said, oh, let him run around. He's more mobile than AOC. That motherfucker was on his back more times than I can fucking count because he just holds onto the ball way too fucking long.
I was gonna make a joke, but we'll reserve comment on that one.
Good.
Antonio Pierce, I love the guy. He's a motivator. I don't think that he's a head coach in the NFL. They made the decision to make him the head coach because the players bought into him, and I get that. After we let Rich Bisaccia go and we brought in fucking Josh McDaniel to be the head coach, it was an uproar that we didn't go in-house and hire the guy that was the interim coach. Motivator, yes. You have all these different past coaches that are in his ear trying to guide him to make decisions. You have Marvin Lewis, who is the assistant head coach. You got Tom Coughlin as an advisor. When it comes down to it, Antonio Pierce does not make the right calls or the right decisions in game.
Wait. Hold up 1 second. Back up.
Sorry, guys.
Coughlin is still alive?
Yes, Tom Coughlin,
What?
Super Bowl winning head coach, is
Yeah, he's
alive.
like in the 70s now.
That dude was like 30 years ago.
Anyway, there's no run game. There's no pass game. And it's clear when Max Crosby is not 100% because he's dinged up and I think he's dealing with a sprained ankle right now. When he's not 100%, that defense struggles mightily. Antonio Pierce called out players or a certain player for making business decisions for himself and not playing through the game because we were getting blown out by the fucking Panthers. Unacceptable. And that's why Belichick shipped out Jack Jones to begin with, because of attitude problems and behavior like that. You can't have it. Regardless of the fact that Jack Jones is probably our best cornerback that's on the team. Jacorian Bennett having a good year. He might be fading him out. Regardless of the fact, you have to have the effort. That's the case not. I know I went on this podcast several times and made several beer bets saying that Devontae Adams was going to be a Raider for this entire year. But if you're going to play like that, get something for him now and send him to New York and let him go play with Rodgers so Dan can win a Super Bowl this year and we can get more picks next year. But very, very Raider-esque to just get their shit kicked in by Old Man River, the Red Rifle.
Well, I appreciate that Pete wants his Raiders to start thinking about being charitable to my Jets, but
Not too charitable. It'll be a first round pick charitable.
Okay. So, with all this being said about the coach, I like Antonio Pierce. I think he has a chance to be a good head coach one day. I'm not sure he's there yet. This also just might not be a great team. And it might not be the right team for Antonio Pierce to coach. I think that has a lot to do with it. I think it was the timing of this. But you know what? If you're the Raiders now, you know what? Too late. You signed this guy to be your head coach. You passed up on an opportunity. And Pete, we talked about this. As soon as the Raiders were starting their head coach search. I said,
Harbaugh.
go get Jim Harbaugh. Okay. I said, go get Jim Harbaugh. You said interim because the players are loving it. I said, okay, I get that. Okay. But if it doesn't turn out well and the Chargers start looking like a real team this year already, which they are already, now we're going to have regrets already. And it's already week 3. I'm not saying that Raiders fans should do that yet. But what I'm saying is that they should have went hardcore, full send. Send everybody. Go recruit Jim Harbaugh. He is your out. And to me, that was a window and opportunity missed for a lot of teams, not just the Raiders. Now, what the Raiders have to do is they have to put together a roster for this guy because this roster isn't going to work with this guy. It's not. I think you're going to see a lot of dysfunction. I think you will see eventually if players keep up this type of crap. I think he will send people out of there. I think that he probably has a little bit more say in the roster than maybe we think because I think he sold himself to the organization. I think he did a good job selling himself. And they listen to what he says. And I think they are going to listen. And you know what? They should listen to what he says because he is who you have now. So build the team for the coach now. Let's get this team playing like the coach wants, okay? A hardcore, hard-nosed style football, old school.
They need to run the ball. They need to run the ball.
They need people who could move, people on the offensive line. The defense is looking better. They've got pieces on defense.
Get a new offensive coordinator that can call a fucking game.
And that's the other thing, man. I mean, we knew Antonio Pierce was a middle linebacker. Antonio Pierce isn't an offensive specialist. This is the kind of coach that needs that other guy, like the superb offensive mind.
Don't forget, Cliff Kingsbury was in the building inking up a contract to be the OC and then pivoted and was like, no, I'm not, I'm out. So a Cliff Kingsbury offense looks much different than a Luke Getsy offense. Luke Getsy, shout out to him. He got the -1 double AAA fucking quarterback out of Buffalo, Washington, Missouri State with the Wawa smock to beat the shit out of us last year. Congratulations. Couldn't get it done with a real quarterback.
What quarterback is he talking about?
Oh. Yeah. Listen, the Raiders got a lot of work to do. It's not like they don't have a core of players that they can't build around now. They do. They have one on each side of the ball for sure that should both be captains for the next 10 years and should not go anywhere. Bowers and Mad Max.
Dawg.
Build your team around those two guys on each side of the ball. Form your identity that way. Your identity on defense is what Max Crosby gets you. Your identity on offense is what Bowers could do for you, right? And the Raiders just need more players. I mean, they're just not ready yet.
Yeah, they need the talent. And just for the sake of accuracy, the quarterback in question was Tyler Bagent
Oh,
out of
yeah.
I thought that's who you were talking about, but I just wanted to
forgot
double
about
check.
him.
Shepherd College.
Oh God.
So I have a question.
What?
So what you're saying is next season the Raiders should be in the market for a quarterback.
Yeah, not named Sam Darnold.
I don't know.
Why not? Hey.
Because we don't have, we need an offensive coordinator that can make sure.
Okay.
All right, that's fair.
Fair. Build the team. Then worry about who your quarterback is.
Fair.
But he will be available.
Listen, by time we build our team, Arch Manning will be coming out and the Raiders will be picking first overall.
Grandpa's
and
not
it's
going to let
be
him.
a home run, baby.
Grandpa's not going to let him play there.
Grandpa's
not letting him play there.
Grandpa Arch.
Grandpa's going to step in and be like, nah.
That'd be so funny.
Nah. Guess again. Pick again.
49ers, Rams. Moving on. 49ers, Rams. Rams comeback. Come from behind victory. The 49ers are just really banged up. No Debo. No Trent Williams. No CMC. Juwan Jennings had a hell of a game on my bench. But
You hate to see it.
the Rams, Matt Stafford still got juice in the tank. And Sean McVay is still a hell of a coach. And as long as Sean McVay is on the Rams will always have a fighting chance. And the Rams are really hurt too. They have the most players on the injury report, and they still were able to beat this game.
Right. The Rams don't care about what problems you have on your injury report. Yeah. They don't care about that.
Very, very impressive win by the Rams. And that division is going to be interesting this year, especially with a lot of players hurt long term. It's going to be a weird one, in my opinion.
I feel like that one's going to come down to who's less injured, because I mean, the Cardinals, like, I'm still not sold on Kyler Murray because, I mean, Call of Duty's not out yet. Let's wait for Call of Duty to come out and then see if he's still good. But yeah, like Matt Stafford's getting old. Matt Stafford's getting really old. I think he's younger than Dan though.
Oh.
He's older than me.
He's not.
He's 37.
Is he 37?
I don't know, so I'll pull that up real quick.
I pulled that out of my ass, but I think he's 37.
That's just like
Bird is 36.
Oh, 36. Oh, wow, that's even worse.
I'm old. I'm older than him.
Matt Stafford's birthday is February 7th, 1988.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's older than me.
I'm a little over a year older than him. Yes.
That's just like I found out that Sam Darnold is younger than Joe Burrow. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that's the other thing is people are forgetting Sam Darnold was drafted when he was like 19, turning 20.
Okay. That's okay. My backup is 21. I don't care. Dan. We're past this. Anywho,
we're past this.
But yeah, so I think like that division's probably going to be a toss-up. I mean, Seattle's looking like they're like as long as Seattle stays healthy, I feel like they'll win it by default just because it's, hey, we're not playing with UPS drivers.
But this division is not all right. At the end of the year, when the Niners have 12,
I said if the injuries keep up, if everyone just keeps getting hurt, but Seattle's the only team that's healthy, and
it's not a crazy thing to think.
I can't see why. Retorts. Response.
Ray, welcome back.
Yes, welcome back, Ray.
I'm still trying to figure out what I just walked into. So
we are discussing Rams, Niners.
Oh, you're welcome. Can I get my props? Oh, that's right. I'm the only guy that picked the Rams.
Listen, clap.
You're not the only guy who picked the Rams.
Well, I
picked the Rams.
Did you pick the Rams?
Yeah. Go back and listen.
All
I
right,
picked the Rams.
we're gonna have to pull that up on the jumbotron.
Listen, divisional games, and Zach will attest to this. NFC West divisional games over the last several years, it doesn't matter what team's doing what. I always call for a split, whether it's the Cardinals, whether it's the Rams. You look at it. You know what? The Niners win a ton of games every year, but they've split division games a lot.
And does do that with the NFC West teams.
Listen, Dan does do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the Niners are banged up. Brock Purdy had to figure out how to play without all his little toys there. So he still did good. I mean, he's hurt and he still performed very well. I'm very impressed by Brock consistently. LA's just still fuck them picks, but they got a little bit they got a little bit of dog in them, man, and they don't go down without a fight. And that's due to McVay. They don't go down easy, and McVay will coach his ass off until the time he gets fired or retires. So that sums that up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Lions Cardinals. Speaking of NFC West teams, Lions traveled to Arizona to play the Cardinals with Kyler and Marvin Harrison Jr., who connected on another touchdown pass this week. But the Lions defense tightened up. They cleaned up a lot of what happened the previous week, and they were able to score just enough to beat the Cardinals. It was really kind of a defensive game, in all honesty. Pete likes to mention the milk cartons. Sam Laporta is on one of those milk cartons, and now he's hurt. So now it's even more.
We're concerned.
Yeah, now it's a concern for the Lions. So they just got to keep winning scrappy, and the Lions will be just fine. But close game. I don't think the Cardinals are quite ready yet. I think their defense isn't there yet.
I mean, Call of Duty's right around the corner, so they better figure fucking something out.
That's pretty good.
I mean, I'm telling you, once Call of Duty comes out, Kyler Murray's gonna go back to being Kyler Murray. It happens every year.
That Black Ops 6, man.
And especially because apparently this Call of Duty is really good. So good luck, Arizona.
Heater.
I mean, to me, this is more a story of Detroit Lions being resilient. Wasn't an easy matchup by any stretch, but they're always going to be gassed up with Dan Campbell and the boys. Yeah, I think the Lions, they're going to hit their stride. Laporta's going to figure it out. Ankle sprain. He came back into the game even on a sprained ankle. Dude's a warrior. Lions will figure it out.
Like, I want to hate Dan Campbell, but I can't.
Yeah, I mean, I got to agree with that a little bit. Dan Campbell is just another phenomenal coach. They're dealing with the injury bug right now, like most of the teams are. You know, the injury buzzsaw has been pretty crazy. So that's been fun to watch. But yeah, they'll figure it out, man. Amon Ra's got to start clicking again, and Jared Goff is gonna do Jared Goff things. They'll figure it out. As far as the Cardinals, I mean, they have a shiny new toy, Marvin Harrison Jr. That's clear, but the rest ain't it. That offense runs on how James Conner runs, just like the Saints. The Saints and the Cardinals are basically the same team, just in different sides of the country. They have a stud in Marvin Harrison, but if they can't get the run game going and Kyler can't take enough steps back to see over that offensive line and actually see Marvin Harrison, nothing's happening. So without James Conner opening up the lanes and creating some space, that offense will fail every time. So if James Conner is getting stuffed and is ineffective, bet against him heavy.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with that. I mean, Murray's been playing a lot better, but yeah, to me, I agree. It had more to do with, I agree with Pete. It had more to do with the opponent than, who the Cardinals are right now. I don't really to me, the jury is out on the coach and a lot of things about the Cardinals. I'm not sure about going forward, other than the fact that they have a superstar wide receiver that they could build around. But yeah, the Lions, Dan Campbell, what they bring, what the juice he brings to that team, I'm sure on a daily basis is, it's got to be like infectious for that team. So it's not going to be, you're not going to see them lose, back to back or 3 games in a row. I think, they could get trapped like they did a week and a half ago against the Bucks. I think you could trap them, but I don't think you're going to get them back to back weeks. You're not trapping them in back to back weeks. No way.
That 1-2 combo with Montgomery and Gibbs is something special too. They utilize them to perfection.
Agreed. Next, Ravens against Cowboys in Big D. The Ravens completely beat the crap out of them. A lot of the Cowboys scores came in garbage time. Derrick Henry showing the Cowboys faithful in Dallas what they could have and should have had. It was a big, much needed win for the Ravens, just running the ball. Something's just not right in Dallas. There's outbursts by CeeDee Lamb on the sidelines. I mean, you would think it'd be nice and kumbaya there with both Dak and CD signed long term. The defense is not good. They've not been good. As Dylan has said previously, Mike Zimmer is now the defensive coordinator there, and it just has not worked out so far. But there's just something off in Dallas. It just feels a little bit different this year. They're still a really talented team, and they probably did lose to the better team in the Ravens, but the way they lost is concerning. And the Ravens finally got in the win column.
As LaShawn McCoy put it, Dak is ass. Dak is ass. And now he's making a lot of money to be ass. You're paying all these people and your team is ass. Congratulations, Dallas.
I don't know that he's ass.
Pete.
I mean,
that's not ass, but
okay, we'll see.
It was. The Ravens. They're fucking. They're still a contender, even regardless of them not winning the first 2 games of the year. They're going to be in it. They're going to be consistent contenders. Lamar's reigning defending MVP. They looked like a team that couldn't be beaten in the first half of that game, and then Dak came back and brought that team back, but they couldn't get it done. The Cowboys are going to be contenders at the end of this year in that division. So are the Ravens. So it was a battle between 2 tough teams.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, Dak is not ass. Dak is a very good quarterback in this league. He's consistent, if anything. And we're talking regular season. I'm not going to talk about playoff Dak. But, I would take Dak as a Giants quarterback right now. No questions asked. So he's a good quarterback. He single-handedly willed that team to come back into something. And I mean, they're playing. They don't have the best offensive line for the first time in a long time. Zeke is now their running back again, and he's not great. It's and they got Rico Dowdle and Deuce Vaughn. Deuce Vaughn might be the best quarterback running back in that room, and that ain't it. But other than that, I mean, you still have CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks. Like they're the Cowboys are going to be contenders, and they're going to be contenders because of Dak and the defense. As far as the Ravens go, yeah, I mean, like Pete said it best. Derrick Henry's a beast, and when you have that 2-headed monster of Lamar running one way, Derrick Henry running another way, you're going to create space, you're going to create lanes, and you're going to play good football. They're the first 2 games, they were in them. They're figuring it out. They're starting to gel as a team, and may God help the rest of this league once they get going. And if they stay away from the injury buzzsaw and they can stay healthy, watch out. It's going to be nasty.
Yeah, I particularly agree about the Cowboys and Dak Prescott. I think there's a reason why Prescott was top 2 in MVP voting. I think it has a lot more to do with the fact that they're just not just a talented team, but they're dealing with a little bit of change this year. So their front office didn't do a great job of getting them help in the running back room. They might have the worst running back room in the NFL. They lost Tyron Smith to the Jets. If you don't think that isn't significant, look at what he's doing for the Jets.
Huge.
They are trying to break in a rookie tackle. The defense just doesn't look the same because they've changed coaches, right? I mean, look at what excuse my ignorance, who's coaching the Washington
Dan
football
Quinn.
team now? Dan Quinn. Okay. We know Cowboy fans. I know a few of them. I'm sure we all know a few of them. None of them seem to like Dan Quinn. I don't understand why. All you did under Dan Quinn was have one of the best defenses in the NFL, and you were a Super Bowl contending team every year. I don't know if you're going to be that this year. The only thing that makes you a contending team right now is Dak Prescott. So I think losing Dan Quinn, Tyron Smith, and not adding anything to that pitiful running back room is what's going to hold the Cowboys back this year. Pitiful.
Agreed. Next.
And wait, hang on. Just to Dan's point, Jerry Jones defending the fact that they didn't have money to sign a running back in the offseason. Give me a fucking break. They should have done.
I think everybody knows that's BS.
They should have done everything in their fucking power to make a play at Derrick Henry.
And you know what? Even if you don't get Derrick Henry, you mean to tell me you can't do better than Ezekiel Elliott? Are you kidding me? With all the running backs that were available in free agency when it started, Ezekiel Elliott was your number one option.
Look at what
Really?
J.K. Dobbins
is
is
that
doing.
what we're saying? Who?
J.K. Dobbins.
Perfect example. You didn't even want to take a shot on Dobbins. You didn't want to take a shot on somebody with some upside. You wanted to bring back Ezekiel Elliott. Well, now this is what you get. And you know what? The Packers might, the Cowboys might make the playoffs. The Cowboys might suck all year too. And I still think Dak is a good quarterback. This team is different now. This isn't your 12. This isn't the last 3 years in a row where you won 12 games and you had a chance to do something in the playoffs with that team. No, now this is your team's a little worse. And it's going to be an uphill battle. Okay. It's going to be an uphill battle for them to get back to where they want to be. And I think they could still do it because of their opponents, and the NFC East in general may be a little tighter than everybody thought. And, the NFC as a whole just isn't that strong. So that's their shot, right? Is that their average opponent every week isn't going to be very good. But the reality is this team isn't as good as it was last year.
Facts. Next was Chiefs Falcons in Atlanta. This was a close game, but the refs and the Chiefs pulled it out in the fourth quarter. But you know what? I think my main takeaway was that the Chiefs and the refs colluded to get another win again. I mean, it's become a parody at this point. But I'm real, and I mentioned this in the chat when the game was happening. I've been very disappointed with Bijan Robinson's NFL career so far. I've not seen his explosiveness from Texas translate to the NFL. I don't know if the two offensive coordinators that he's had, either they don't know how to use him or he's having a hard time adjusting to the NFL. I don't really know what it is, but if the Falcons are going to win football games, they need to figure out how to get him going. Drake London's having a good year. Kirk Cousins is supposed to be there to just fill in for a few years and play good football so that Michael Penix can develop behind him. But the Falcons still have some things to figure out a little bit. And I understand the Chiefs and the refs will take the headlines, but I don't think the Falcons are just quite ready yet.
I mean, you're right, but my biggest takeaway is how checked out Travis Kelce is. Just send him off to the fucking side. It's the Taylor Swift Everest tour. Send him off. That shot on the sideline looks like a man that does not want to play football. No spark, no fire, and just going through the motions on the field.
That is a man that wanted to retire last year with his brother, but the NFL said you can't. You can't. You're not allowed to. You have to give us at least one more year. This whole Taylor Swift thing, we're riding strong with this. Like you got to stick it out one more year. And he just went. Fine.
I mean, for all we know, there's truth to that. There might be. I don't know.
What do we think, Ray?
Yeah, I mean, I'm so sick of the Chiefs. I'm like, let's just get the three-peat done already. Let them be bad again because my God, I can't. They're honestly like Chiefs games are just unwatchable. They're just genuinely unwatchable. Watching Kyle Pitts get mugged in the end zone, especially when I have Kyle Pitts in every fucking fantasy league that exists. Watching him get mugged and nothing gets called it's atrocious. Like it's so obvious and it's so gross. And the fact that
no call, it's just
he's wearing them as a coat. Like if he had open sleeves, he'd be wearing him as a coat. And there's not even a fucking yellow flag to be found on the field. It's just gross negligence at this point. And it's just it makes me hate. I've already disliked the Chiefs for a long time, but my God, it's unwatchable.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, Bijan's been really inconsistent, and I don't know if it's a him thing or coaching thing. I mean, it's a running back. You know, running backs they don't have a lot of tread on the tires. Maybe it's a situation thing. Maybe it's we're seeing Saquon rejuvenate like he's still fresh out of college right now. So good for him. But I don't know what the deal is with Bijan. I mean, look at Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's been beat to fucking dog shit, and he's still out there just balling out. So I don't know. Maybe he figures it out. Maybe you're still coming off the hangover from a year of like torturous, really bad coaching. So and you're still trying to figure it all out where you belong. I like how they mix Algier in there. Algier is a gangster, dude. He just puts his head down. He runs the rock hard. So you have the two combination punch you want. Captain Kirk is going to get it done if you give him the space and the time to be a pocket passer. But that's him. He's a mediocre quarterback at best. I mean, but he's in the spot of where he's like an Alex Smith at this point. He's not going to go bonkers and have these wild nights anymore. He's going to throw for 200 to 250 at most, get the ball where it needs to go, make some really bad throws, make some clutch throws, and move on. Like that's exactly what you expect Kirk to do at this point in his career. The Chiefs aren't impressive. I mean, Kelce, everyone's making a big deal. He had like 4 catches for like 50 yards. Cool. But, Pete's feeling that the Kelce pain in both leagues that we're in, and it's over. The Travis Kelce era is behind us. And thank God. I can't wait for it to be done. But other than that, I mean, the Chiefs need to figure something out with, Carson Steele is a good fill-in, but he's a fullback. He's not a running back. He's a fullback. He's going to put his head down. He's going to get you 7 yards per carry, just straight bull rush. When that defense or when that playing style runs into a defense that's going to stuff him, like you put a Jets defense or even a Giants defense in front of that style, you're not going anywhere. So now you're forced to go back to the air with Juju Smith-Schuster and a bunch of other bums out there. So maybe the three-peat isn't a lock as much as we thought, but the refs are doing a damn good job of keeping it up. So that's my thoughts.
It's hard to disagree with that. And, I hate to use the refs as an excuse for anything, but, man, you look at the first 3 games, and it's like all of these games are the Chiefs are playing like shit. And then you wait until the very last moment in the game when it matters the most and the refs throw the flag and it always goes their way. I mean, that's just that's dumb luck or whatever. They just have the magic touch with that stuff, or Mahomes just they know how to sell referees. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just that human element to the game, that the intangibles that, can't be measured. There are no statistics for what Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes are doing. And they're just winning. They know how to win. It's like the Mike Tomlin thing that I've talked about. He doesn't care if he wins 9-6. Okay, just win the game. That's all this year is about. It's about the three-peat, and then Andy Reid could go sail into the sunset. And Mahomes is already waltzing into the Hall of Fame anyway. So, but yeah, agree. Kelsey, he came in out of shape. He's been jet setting and partying, and his life is a lot different now. He doesn't live a life of full dedication to football. It's a life that is fully dedicated to his significant other. So I'm not surprised that he's not playing well. And I'm shocked that it's taken media a long time to kind of call it what it is. Some guys are saying it, like Kirk Herbstreit. Some guys are willing to come out and say it. He's out of shape. He's not in football shape. And you know what? I don't blame Mahomes for not looking his way. Can that change throughout the season? Yes, he can get in better shape and start having stronger performances towards the end of the year. I do believe that's possible. It's probable. I'll say that. If he could stay healthy, okay, because it's hard to come in out of shape and stay healthy. If he could stay healthy, it's probable that he will improve every week, get back into football shape, and start putting up better numbers. But yeah, man, I'm with Ray. I'm exactly what you said, Ray. Like, I'm just sick of this team. I'm ready for I'm ready for a new team or something. I don't even know. I'm sick of a team getting bailed out all the time. You look back at Mahomes. Don't get me wrong. I love him. Absolutely, had him ranked number one, just like everybody did. He is the number one quarterback in the NFL. But facts are facts. And he's had a lot of interceptions overturned due to penalties since he's been in the league. A lot.
What was that stat you sent me the other day?
What was it?
The
Brady, the one that I'm talking about now?
The one, yeah, between him and Brady.
Oh, the amount of interceptions that have been, or the amount of turnovers in general that have been overturned due to penalties for both of those guys. Yeah, it's an insane amount. For Mahomes, it's in the high teens already at this point in his career. That's a lot of interceptions to have been overturned. Okay.
Mahomes has 22 interceptions overturned in his 6-year career. Brady had 16 in 22 seasons.
Oh, that's right. That's right. So Brady had a lot fewer interceptions overturned, and this guy has a lot already. So
they just cheated in other ways.
Go back to the game last year where they played against the Jets, and the Jets were rolling out Zach Wilson, and they were basically beating the hell out of the Chiefs at the line of scrimmage all night, and they get bailed out with a bullshit, and I mean bullshit, pass interference call against Sauce Gardner that ended the game. There was no pass interference on that play. That was complete bullshit. And I just feel like that's what the Chiefs get every time. They get the benefit of the doubt on every call.
So, yeah, it's frustrating. And like Ray said, it's becoming unwatchable. But we're going to move on to the final 2 Monday night games, and then we'll get to our picks for the week 4. Jaguars, Bills. I don't really have anything to say. The Jaguars are atrocious. We're looking at a top 3 pick for the Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence is kind of getting into bust territory here.
Coaching is everything.
And especially with that contract that he just signed. If you're gonna make $55 million a year, at least have a better career passer rating than Dan Jones. That's all I'm gonna say. And Josh Allen, right now is my MVP pick. I said he would probably win MVP before we started the season as well. I have that on record here. He's my MVP pick, and he is looking every bit the part of it. So
Did you smash $25 down at our local Caesar Sportsbook?
I don't bet futures. I don't bet futures.
Maybe you should have thought about it.
Soft.
But,
You call
yeah,
yourself the Oracle.
listen.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I probably should. I should have bet on the Vikings at the beginning of the season.
Speaking of the
God.
Oracle, it's matchup week, baby boy.
It is indeed matchup week. The legendary matchup.
They're
each
chalking
year.
up for an L for RT3.
It's almost, you know, because we have to be fair. It's not an automatic L anymore. It's just an almost automatic L every time. Because he has
What are the projections?
If I was betting futures, I would bet on the Oracle beating RT3.
What are the projections at the moment?
106 to 99. Mwah.
You are projected 99, Ray?
No,
No.
I'm projected 106.
Oh.
not projected.
Go on record right now and say Ray is going to win this year.
Interesting. Very interesting. But what is your opinion on Bills Jaguars?
Well, so here's my thing with Trevor Lawrence. Again, I think it comes down to coaching. Yes, there are some things you can't coach, but I feel like Trevor Lawrence has never had a competent coach. He went from Urban Meyer to Doug Peterson, who, let's be honest, Nick Foles and God won the Eagles that Super Bowl. Doug Peterson had nothing to do with that. That was strictly divine intervention. You are going to tell me that the best defense in the league just decided to not show up one day?
Oh God, he's been saying this for years. Pete, we're moving on. We're not doing another Dylan tangent right now.
I'm just saying.
It's 11:20 on the East Coast right now. We got to keep this moving. So
Yeah.
what I'm going to say is Josh Allen. Dog. I apologize to him. Dog. But it's a real wonder what your team can do when you clear out
Bad apples.
all of the distractions and you're playing as a team. Throwing to nobodies right now. He might as well be throwing to one double minus A, triple college, Walmart, Wawa, smock wearing fucks. That's
I love that Wawa smock wearing fucks. I'm gonna start using that.
Carved up Jacksonville. So yeah, that's it. And I'm gonna retract this partially because of how well they're playing right now. That window that I closed on night 1 of the podcast, I unlocked the window. It's not open, but it's unlocked. Because if you're playing that fucking well at quarterback,
It's unlocked.
It's unlocked at the minimum.
Ray. Ray, tell us about T-Law and tell us about how good T-Law was supposed to be. He was from Clemson.
I wish that it wasn't 11:22 and I could go on a good rant right now. But for the time's sake, I'm going to say, yeah, Trevor, not good. He's not the second coming of Jesus. I hope he goes to another team, even though I know he's locked up for the next 4 years in Jacksonville. But yeah, I think coaching is bad. I really hope that we see this kid ball out at some point. But no matter what, he's not a bust. When we're talking about busts, this kid's not a bust. He brought a terrible team to mediocrity and has had some success. He's won playoff games.
Overhyped, we could say.
Overhyped for sure. Not a bust. That's all I got to say about T-Law right now. Maybe another night I'll go into another rant. Josh Allen, I think they're playing excellent football. They're playing top tier football right now. Like Pete, I'm cracking the window back open for them.
I didn't crack it. I unlocked it.
I'm cracking it. I'm cracking it. If they can play at this level for the rest of the season, they're going to be something to be warned about. But they're playing like the Patriots of old right now. You have an elite level quarterback throwing balls to Walmart greeters, and it's like James Cook is the best skill position player on that team. It's not sustainable to me. When I look at the future of the Buffalo Bills, it's not like it's a hot streak, right? They're like me with betting right now. They're on a heater. Someday that heater's gonna come fucking woo bang, right? So
The test will be against the Jets.
and exactly. And I'm gonna be sitting in the stands watching it firsthand, and I'm so excited. Yeah, I just don't have that much faith in them, right? I like the fact that they're coming out blazing, but show me you can sustain it. I'm waiting.
Yep. Okay. So real quick on the Jaguars, yeah, they stink. The coach isn't very good right now. He had a lot of good fortune, I guess, with the Eagles when they won the Super Bowl, and maybe divine intervention did have something to do with it because Nick Foles went throw for throw with the greatest quarterback of all time and won that game. So maybe Dylan is onto something. However, Trevor Lawrence has been worse than Daniel Jones. You look at them year to year, Trevor Lawrence has been worse than Daniel Jones. He's a bust. He was taken first overall. He was supposed to be the type of player that not only was going to be the face of your franchise, but the type of player that was going to elevate your team to a dynasty. And they're nowhere near that, right? Top 3, top 5 pick maybe after this year. Is that what we're saying? So, yeah. Fade the Jaguars almost every week. And yeah, the Bills are strong. Josh Allen is the MVP of the league. He is the MVP of the league. Nobody asks more from their quarterback on a week-to-week basis than the Buffalo Bills, and nobody delivers more on a week-to-week basis than Josh Allen. And you want to talk about Iron Man, what this guy's body has been through. I mean, he plays every game, and there is no Cam Newton effect with him. He's still great.
Agreed.
He's
Agreed.
good. He's just good.
Well, that's not. He can throw the ball too. Let's not.
That's
Well,
what
no,
I mean.
that goes without
That's
saying.
what I mean. There's no Cam Newton effect. He doesn't get hurt and then has a noodle arm. No. This guy is a machine. He is a machine. A dog. A top dog.
Top dog.
Top dog.
The final Monday night game, we had a doubleheader. Commanders and Bengals. Cincy drops to 0-3. There's also just something ain't right in Cincy. I don't know if it's because Joe Burrow went blonde. I don't know if it's because Jamar Chase's contract has become a distraction for the team. It just seems dysfunctional right now in Cincinnati. The Commanders have found themselves somebody special, I think, in Jane Daniels. I knew he was the best quarterback. I have it on record saying he should have been the first overall pick, but he went number 2 to Washington, and even the Giants knew it. Hard Knocks, would you be willing to trade up for him? Yes, I would. The Giants knew he was going to be a problem. I knew he was going to be a problem, and he's going to be a special player for a long time. They haven't punted in 2 weeks. That's how good this kid is. And it's not like they got world beaters on offense for them right now. But he's that dynamic. He's only going to get better. And the Commanders have somebody special that they can now build upon for the first time in a long time. And
a coach.
Yes, and a coach. Dan Quinn is proving to be a good coach for them so far the start of the year. So the big story for me out of that game is Jaden Daniels and not necessarily the Bengals being dysfunctional.
Agree.
I think that die is going to Joe Burrow's head. I think that's what happened. And now he just doesn't know how to play football.
Solid.
Well, hold the fuck on. Hold the fuck on. You're going to tell me, first of all, you called Dak ass. Now you say Joe Burrow can't play football? The dude Did you see what he did on that game? Were you watching that football game? There was no punts or turnovers. What? How?
It was beautiful.
That
It was a
one of the
quarterback
best
clinic.
football games we've seen in ages.
You were right. It was a quarterback clinic.
And had Jaden
Clinic.
Daniels not balled the fuck out and been the most elite quarterback we've seen all fucking year, the Bengals win that game by far. The Bengals defense lost that game. That's all it was.
Well, their defense ain't good.
I'm going to jump ahead. I'm going to say,
Defense ain't-
Jaden Daniels won that game.
Even more true.
That's national TV the third game of this guy's career on national TV on Monday Night Football. And he's screaming at the coaches on fourth down. Let's go. Let's go.
special.
We
He's a
haven't
special
seen
player,
that
man.
kind of thing.
If anything, that game solidified to me that LSU is now quarterback university.
Fair.
And
I'm just saying
And wide receiver.
the moxie
let's
from
not wide receiver.
this dude Jaden Daniels, and oh my goodness, you want to talk about dropping it in a bucket on these long throws into the end zone?
That fucking dagger he put in the Bengals' heart by dropping that fucking Terry McLaurin touchdown to just a basket,
bro, we're talking about those throws are works of art. Those are like Aaron Rodgers makes those throws and everybody talks about it the next day. This kid is the real deal. That's insane. That's insane that he played like that and had that much confidence and was screaming at his coaches on the sideline on fourth down like there is no choice. We're going for it. What's the play? Like no. That dude's different. He's a superstar already in my mind. Like just give it some time. Give it some time. I'm telling you. You're going to see it week after week. You're going to see it happening more and more often. He's still a rookie. He's still going to have growing pains. But for him to do that shit on a Monday night game, the third game of his career, that's sick, bro. That is sick.
Yeah. I mean, kudos to Brian Daboll for showing that he wanted this kid.
No, he made it very clear. He made it very clear. And hey, how about Shane's kid? He said, trade up to get him. He said, right? He said, you want to win? I believe that's what his kid said to him. He's like, trade up. You want to win?
I love it. I love it. So with that being said, that is the recap of week 3. We're going to run through our week 4 picks. Like Pete has mentioned and Ray has mentioned, it is 11:30 here on the East Coast. So we're going to just go through our picks and kind of wrap up the show here. Thursday night football in MetLife Stadium, Cowboys versus Giants. I'm picking the Cowboys here. The Giants have not been able to beat Dak Prescott since his rookie year. Although the Cowboys are worse than this year in previous years, and the Giants are better this year than in previous years, I still don't think there's enough there. Daniel Jones still has not really played well on national TV yet. I'm going to go with the Cowboys, unfortunately, against my Giants.
Nah, Giants are going to win.
Dylan does have the Giants winning.
Giants are going to win. They're due. They're due.
Them boys.
I am going to be the villain of this story, and I'm going to take the Giants getting 4.5 points. And I hope you all know why.
Why?
Because I don't want them to win. So I feel like if I pick them to win,
Okay.
That means there's some doubt right there.
He's going to feel.
I think they are going to win.
That is also coming from former Giants supporter. Great.
yes, former.
Yeah,
Giants are going to win.
yeah. Ray, I'm going to go with you in the point system, and I'm going to take the Giants.
All right. Next is Vikings Packers in Lambeau. Vikings are on a roll. 3-0. I think they go into Lambeau here. I mean, eventually Malik Willis has to slow down, right? Eventually. I'm going to take the Vikings to go 4-0 here. It's still a backup quarterback for the Packers. I think both coaches for both teams are really good. So it should be a very well coached game, but I think the Vikings are just the healthier team. They're just the overall better team right now. I'm going to pick Vikings.
I chose no contest. I have no idea what the fuck the Vikings are gonna do. They have proved week in and week out. I'm like, oh yeah, they're gonna lose this game, and then all of a sudden they just decide to show the fuck up. So I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know.
Okay, Pete.
Vikings.
Green Bay getting 2.5.
Green Bay getting points at home. Yes. Historically good against the Vikings.
All right. Broncos Jets in MetLife. I'm taking the Jets to fucking smash Sean Payton and the Broncos again. I hate the Broncos. I love me Aaron Rodgers and the Jets right now.
I'm taking the Broncos. I don't know. I feel like that's a trap game.
Okay, interesting. Pete.
Jet the fuck up, bitches.
Jets plus 7.5. Let's go. Lock it in.
Man, it's so different having everybody so confident in my team. I got to tell you, it's so different.
I know it's such a weird feeling, right?
It's a really weird feeling. Yeah.
Strange.
I don't see the Broncos. The Broncos don't play well in the Meadowlands historically either, if you look at that. So yeah, give me the Jets.
I'm assuming Dan's taking the Jets, of course.
I just said, yeah, they don't. The Broncos don't play well historically in the Meadowlands.
Yeah, remember that Super Bowl?
Terrible.
Yeah.
Saints Falcons in Atlanta. I hate what the Saints showed me. I'm going to go with the Falcons at home here. I think this will be a close game. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Derek Carr has to show me that he could play well again. Falcons.
I think this is going to be a bounce back game for the Saints and Derek Carr. I just know Kirk Cousins is going to do some Kirk Cousins shit and lose that game.
All right.
Derek Carr don't have to prove shit to anybody. He's going to ball the fuck out, though. Nola.
Yeah, this is tough for me. Kamara being hurt and I think he was limited today. I got to pick the Falcons. Both teams are playing really angry. Saints are going to be on a comeback. I don't think Derek Carr has a bad game. I think Derek Carr has a great game. I think Kirk Cousins has a better game. Give me the Falcons giving 1.5.
Yeah, I agree. I like the Falcons in this matchup right now with what's going on with Kamara hurt.
All right. Next, Eagles and Bucks rematch of the divisional playoffs last year, or I should say the wild card round. My mistake. I'm going to take the Bucks in a bounce back win for them here. The Eagles are just too hurt. AJ Brown's still hurt. Devontae Smith is still hurt. Maybe Saquon can carry them again, but I think the Bucks are too talented on offense, and the Eagles defense has been burnable in the secondary. So I think it's just I think the Bucks are just a matchup for the Eagles, even when the Eagles were healthy. I'm taking the Bucks.
I'm also taking the Bucks. I don't think Nick Sirianni is going to be the head coach of the Eagles much longer. Whether he makes it through this season, I don't think he does, but stranger shit has happened. So
this pick right here is from my boy Mike Rizzo. Fly, Eagles, fly, baby.
Yeah, this pick is because of Mike Rizzo. Sorry. Eat it. I'm picking the Bucks because, like Zach said, the Eagles are banged up. You're not gonna have Devontae Smith. Like Jahan Dotson is gonna be the wide receiver one trotting out in the Philadelphia uniform. Actually Saquon's probably the wide receiver one, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I can't confidently pick in them. I can't. I mean, the offense is gonna run through Saquon, and I think the Bucks are just gonna stuff him all day long. He's gonna break out. He's gonna get 1 or 2 tuds and have those long, crazy Saquon type runs and put up 100 yards. But the Bucks are going to have Evans and Godwin, and even with them a little tuned up themselves, the Eagles defense can't contain both of them, and they're going to look for Godwin to have another great game. I'm getting the Bucks plus 2.5.
This is a really hard game to pick. I mean, this is literally a coin flip for me. I'm going to take the Bucks just because I think AJ Brown won't play. And I think that the more games AJ Brown sits, the more that they will lose.
Fair. Bengals Panthers, game 2 of the Red Rifles resurgence, possibly? No. I'm going to pick the Bengals. They should win this game, get the first win of the season. If the Bengals lose to the Panthers at home and go 0-4, we're going to have some conversations here next week. But I don't see that happening. I see them.
I'm gonna put a warning out. If that happens, I'm gonna have a strange illness Wednesday night and not be able to attend.
Oh, okay. I'm taking the Bengals.
I think you're gonna have to have that strange conversation. I'm taking the Panthers. I think the way Andy Dalton played, and I don't know. I see the Panthers winning this game.
There is no way that the Cincinnati Bengals and Joe Burrow's beautiful blonde hair is going to pull Las Vegas Raiders and choke against the Red Rifle. This is my blowout of the week. Cincinnati Bengals are going to torch the Carolina.
They should.
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more. That's a crazy thought to have. It is still Andy Dalton, an old Andy Dalton now, and it is still the Carolina Panthers with Xavier Legette. Don't forget, Adam Thielen is now banged up with a concussion, so he's out. So you've lost weapons there. There's just not enough. There's not enough players on the Panthers that really scare me. The Bengals are 0-3, and they know they're 0-3. They're coming up pissed off over an absolute shootout with Washington. They should have won game 2 over the Chiefs, but that was stolen from them by the refs too. They're playing football at Bengals level. And like I called weeks ago, don't get upset by a week 1. They historically start bad, right? They always do this. This is the Cincinnati Bengals. They the last 3 years they've done that. Let's not forget, they went to the Super Bowl 3 years ago. They went to the division championship 2 years ago. Last year, Joe Burrow missed 7 games. They got hurt and they missed the playoffs. This is a Joe Burrow team, and they're going to get it together. It's going to happen. This is where it comes back in my blowout of the week. The Bengals are going to torch the Panthers and get back on track, and they're going to put the rest of the league on notice saying, hey, we're still here.
I agree. This should be a layup. It's my blowout of the week as well. And if you're right. And you know what? You're right too, Zach. If the Bengals lose this game, we are going to have a talk because they're not worthy of being called Super Bowl contenders at that point. And yeah, the Panthers losing Adam Thielen at this point in his career, that might be addition by subtraction. So I'm not even sure what to think about that.
All right. Next is Jaguars Texans. This is my blowout of the week. I think the Texans just destroy the Jaguars. I think the Jaguars are awful. Their defense is awful. T-Law is awful. Texans all the way in my blowout.
Yeah, I agree. I chose this one as the blowout of the week because I feel like that Texans team is going to come back and try to prove something, especially after last week's loss against the Vikings where they were pretty much embarrassed. I think they're going to come back and just play absolutely angry, and the poor Jaguars are just going to have to deal with it.
Bless you, sir.
Thank you.
Bless you. We're going to go CJ Stroud and the boys right there. Going to light it up. MVP caliber performance to match what someone's wannabe MVP did on Monday night. I'm going Houston.
Yeah, I'm going to go Houston. I just think they're going to be really angry and really upset with how they played, and this is a really good get right week for them.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Houston -4.5. Yep.
Next, Steelers and Colts. I'm taking the Steelers, baby. I think Mike Tomlin and that Steelers defense is going to eat up Anthony Richardson. And all they're going to have to do is make sure Jonathan Taylor doesn't run wild, but TJ Watt and Cameron Hayward in that defensive line should do the job. And I think Justin Fields manages the game. I don't think the Colts are a really good team. And I think the Steelers would move on to 4-0.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to change it. I originally chose the Colts, but I'm just like, I don't know. Mike Tomlin just knows how to win. That's all he does is win. He wins no matter what.
Everybody's hands go, whoa,
See, he got it.
and they stay there. Mike dub. Yeah, it's until Anthony Richardson can complete a pass between the sticks, between the hash marks.
You gotta move the chains.
Yeah, if your professional football team is going in to play the Steelers, you better bring a quarterback with you who could make plays to beat them. They're not going to give you the game. You have to take it from them. So give me Mike Tomlin and the Steelers.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more. That Steelers defense is absolutely legit. And what we saw of AR-15 and the Colts last week, you're not gonna get that lucky against the TJ Watt led Steelers defense. So give me the Steelers. Where the fuck are they? -1.5.
All right. Next, we have Rams.
That's a terrible spread.
It is a terrible spread. I actually don't understand it, but
what's the spread?
Steelers are -1.5 and Colts are +1.5.
That line will change. That line will change big time.
Rams versus Bears. In Chicago. I'm still gonna take the Rams. I know they're hurt, but it doesn't seem to really matter. I'm gonna take McVay over Eberflus in the coaching matchup, and I'm gonna take Matt Stafford over Caleb Williams in the quarterback matchup right now. I think it'll be a little bit closer because it's tough to play in Chicago still. That crowd still gets rowdy. But I'm still taking the Rams.
I'm taking the Rams over the Bears because, I mean, the Rams can do the one thing that, for some weird reason, Matt Eberflus just won't do with a rookie quarterback, and that's run the ball. I don't know why he doesn't have. I don't know why he doesn't run the ball.
Swift hasn't been good either.
No, he hasn't.
Atrocious. But with that being said, I'm going with the Bears.
Okay.
Da Bears.
The Bears.
Ray,
Yeah,
what's the line on this?
It's Rams +1.5, Chicago -1.5. And I am taking the Rams at +1.5. I'm riding that streak with the Rams. Kyron Williams is playing nasty football. Sean McVay is the better coach. I don't believe in Caleb Williams. I think the Caleb Williams tower is quickly crumbling, and the fraud that we know he is being exposed. Like I called weeks ago, he's a fraud. He's an absolute fraud, and he's not going to – NFL, not for long. Caleb Williams will not last for long. Give me the Rams.
Yep, it's an episode of Scooby-Doo where we're just waiting to unmask Caleb to see who he really is, and he ain't it. So give me the Rams.
All right. Next, we have the Commanders versus Cardinals. This is my upset of the week because for some reason the Cardinals are getting 3.5. So I'm going to take the Commanders as my upset of the week. I think they go on the road. I think Jaden Daniels continues to light up a bad secondary, and I think they get another win.
Yeah. Yeah, Jaden Daniels is good. So I'm gonna have to go with the Commanders on that one.
All right, 2 Commanders picks so far.
It is also my upset of the week. Jaden Daniels, man, I wish we could have traded up for that fucking guy. It was
The whole league is regretting it.
In the club.
Yeah.
The stars were written. He would have looked so good in silver and black. Now he's in that fucking maroon. Ugh.
I mean,
The
granted,
Commanders.
the color shift wouldn't have been much of a change for him. So there's that.
True. Raymond.
Family pick. It is also my upset of the week. Give me the Commanders. Jaden Daniels is balling out. Go for it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, family pick, but not really family pick because as good as he's been playing, there
Ruined.
is that element of traveling across the other side of the country to go play football. Usually doesn't work out too well. And he's still a rookie quarterback. Let's keep that in mind. He can have those moments and we could talk about them and I could say that I think he's a superstar, but he's still going to have rookie moments.
All right. Fair. Patriots 49ers. This one's pretty easy. Niners at home. Patriots are one of the worst teams in the league. We might see Drake May finally take over here fully. So 49ers, easy.
Yeah, that the 49ers are banged up, but that Patriots team, it was like, yeah, they had the one flash in the pan, but other than that, it's that they're hogwash. And I just, after years of Tom Brady and just New England being New England, you love to see it. You just love to see it. So
Niners.
Yeah, Niners. Plus 10.5, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Niners are minus 10.5.
Right. I would stay away from the points personally, but Niners money line all day.
Yeah, I completely agree with that too.
All right, Browns, Raiders. Raiders are home. I'm taking the Raiders in a bounce back win against the asshole toucher and the Browns. The Browns are also beat up on the defensive side of the ball. And if old Danny Jones can carve them up, I think the Raiders will do just fine. I got the Raiders in a win.
I'm also taking the Raiders. It pains me to see Kevin Stefanski have to put up with that guy, and because he's a great head coach. The fact that he managed to win with 5 different quarterbacks last year is just impressive, and it just pains me that he's stuck with this asshole toucher.
You know what I'm picking. I'm never not gonna pick the fucking Raiders. I bleed silver and black. Let's fucking go. AOC should be the quarterback. Probably gonna get one more run with fucking Minshew. Let's get a dub, boys.
I don't know what the silver is, but if your blood is black, that means it's extremely oxidated. You might want to get that checked out, bro.
Anyway, I'm taking the Raiders plus 1.5. This is definitely a bounce back game. They're going to come back and just do their thing. And Cleveland has been exposed by the Giants. They're going to show the same game plan. Give me the Raiders.
I agree a lot about the game plan and the Raiders. The Raiders should be looking at that film. And I'm taking the Raiders too. Nice segue, right?
Family pick. Hey, family pick.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Chiefs Chargers in LA. Herbert may actually miss this game. That's how banged up his ankle is. So even if he was playing, I think I'm going to pick the Chiefs and the Zebras. So I'm going to pick the Chiefs.
I was gonna say I picked the refs for this game. I think they're gonna do a fantastic job. Whether Justin Herbert plays or not, that special team of them, they're too good. They're just unstoppable. So I'm gonna have to give it to them.
KC.
Yeah. I mean, you hate to see it, but the Chargers are decimated right now. J.K. Dobbins can only hold that team up with his bad Achilles so much. Give me KC minus 8.5.
I can't possibly pick San Diego. I can't possibly pick the LA Chargers without Justin Herbert to beat the Chiefs. So yeah, that's a no-go.
All right. Next is Bills Ravens. This is my game of the week in Baltimore. This is a massive game for Baltimore. I'm going to take the Bills. I think with the way the Bills are playing right now and the way they're being coached, I think Josh Allen just seems like he's unbeatable right now. And the Ravens defense has been a question mark so far this season. If you could stop Derrick Henry, you got a chance. If you could make Lamar Jackson throw the ball more, you have a chance. I think that they at least do one of those two things. I'm going to take the Bills.
I think this game's going to be a shootout. But I think it's going to come down to the fact that I think the Ravens will run the ball better. They'll move the ball better. Yeah, so I'm taking the Ravens.
My matchup of the week as well. It's going to be a banger. I give the edge to the reigning MVP. I'm going to go with the Ravens.
Also, my matchup of the week, everything Pete just said. Derrick Henry is going to run wild on that Buffalo defensive line. I'm taking Baltimore -2.5. I think this is where the wheels kind of fall off for Josh Allen. And I think Lamar and Derrick really just put a show on in a great Sunday night game for the first time in a long time.
Well, if history has told us anything, it's that the Bills struggle against teams that know how to punch other teams in the mouth. And that's what the Baltimore Ravens do to people when they're going right. Now they have to prove that they're still that team, because so far this is the worst John Harbaugh coached Ravens team since 2015, when they missed the playoffs and went 5-11. So now would be a good opportunity for the Ravens to remind everybody that they can be that team. And I think they will. So I'm taking them too.
All right, we move on to the Monday night doubleheader. Titans versus Dolphins. I'm going to pick the Titans, mainly because Skylar Thompson's not an NFL quarterback. So there's just no competing with him whatsoever. I'm taking the Titans.
I'm taking the Titans. I mean, granted, this is gonna be a trash can versus a trash can. It's just who's filled with less shit.
Yeah, I'm going Miami on this one. I am not putting my stock in a guy that fucking puts mayo in his coffee. I think we're gonna wind up with him being on his 4th consecutive meme somehow. Go Miami.
So I am also going to pick Miami +1.5 points. Fun fact, our very own Michael Steven Telep will be in attendance to this game. Michael Telep is never seen the Dolphins lose in person as a season ticket holder. He will be in attendance. It is in Miami. The streak continues. Give me Miami.
That's a fun little fact right there.
That is a really fun fact that I didn't know either. And I was just about to go into the fact that poor Dolphins fans have to watch this game on a Monday night, but hey, they might win the game. I just think that I'm going based off of what I saw my team do against the Titans. And I think that defense is a lot better than what people are saying, the Titans. So I think that presents a bad matchup potentially for the Dolphins, and I'm actually going to go with the Titans in this one.
All right. Final game. We have Seahawks versus Lions in Detroit. Detroit is debuting the black and blue uniforms that look phenomenal. I think they pull out a dub here in Detroit. I think Seattle suffers its first loss, unfortunately, but I think the Lions will get the win here.
I got the Seahawks. The Seahawks are playing hard. They're playing well. And I kind of need the Lions to lose this game to help increase my division lead. So, yeah.
All right.
If you think that Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions are going to go in with those sick-ass jerseys and throw up a stinker, you are out of your mind. They are going to be gassed up. Detroit by 2 scores.
Yeah, this was the hardest one for me to pick. I see this as a tale of 2 different games. If Aiden Hutchinson could get to Geno and shake Geno up and make Geno be the Geno that we know he is, then Detroit runs away with this game. Montgomery and Gibbs will just run all over the place, and it'll just be that. If they can't, if they can't get to Geno, and Geno has time to be a pocket quarterback and use his multi-headed weapons that he does, Charbonnet, Kenneth Walker, who? Charbonnet is doing a great job running the ball. You have 3 legitimate receivers at any time in Seattle who can catch bombs, short passes, cross-field routes. It's actually incredible what Seattle has kind of clicking right now. So as much as I love Detroit and I want Detroit to win, I'm taking Seattle with the points because I think they're firing on all cylinders right now. And for greedily enough, my fantasy team has DK, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. Maybe a little bias in there, but I think that they could do it. Give me Seattle on the upset.
Quick question. Where is this game being played?
In Detroit.
Detroit.
Okay, yeah. If it were in Seattle, I'd hop on with you, Ray. But I just think that atmosphere in that building, fast track, all that kind of stuff, that's not how Seattle likes to play. So I think Detroit will be in control of that one.
Nope. Veto.
All right. To wrap it all up, our fantasy players of the week and our sleeper fantasy players of the week. My fantasy player of the week is Nico Collins, and my sleeper is Wan'Dale Robinson.
I chose Marvin Harrison Jr. I think that Commanders-Cardinals game, even though the Commanders are going to win, I think they're both just going to be high-scoring games because Marvin Harrison Jr. is just Marvin Harrison Jr. And then my sleeper of the week, I chose Jalen Naylor. I think with the Packers and the way Justin Jefferson is, they're probably going to throw either like an extra man on him, which is going to free up Jalen Naylor. And the past couple weeks, he's just been extremely reliable, and I feel like this is his game where he sets himself apart.
My fantasy player of the week will be part of the blowout of the week, Mr. Joe Burrow.
He gonna lose.
And my fantasy sleeper pick of the week, Mr. Mike Williams of the New York Jets, with the revenge game tutties coming to you.
Hmm.
Boom.
I like that pick.
Mike Williams was on the Broncos?
Oh, never mind.
It's all right. It's all right.
AFC
I didn't know where you were going with the revenge thing, but I still like the pick.
Listen, yeah, I listen. I like it. Rain.
AFC West.
Yeah, my fantasy player of the week is going to be Lamar Jackson or Derrick Henry. Take your pick, either one. And my sleeper of the pick is going to be the Cincinnati Bengal wide receiver Andre Isovis.
The Princeton
The
boy.
Princeton boy. He's been playing well.
Joe Burrow loves him.
Yes. He does.
My
Gonna have to.
my fantasy player of the week is going to be Breece Hall. You look at what he has done in his career against the Denver Broncos, and it is a man against boys in both matchups that he's played against the Broncos. So give me him. And then sleeper pick of the week. That one's tough. I came a little unprepared. I'm gonna say Shaheed for the Saints.
Rashid Shaheed. All right, ladies and germs, we're gonna wrap it up here. It's a little after midnight here on the East Coast, but that's how these podcasts are gonna be during football season. Bye weeks are gonna start next week, so we're gonna start seeing, we're gonna be covering less teams, obviously, with teams starting on the bye week, so the podcast won't be as long. But that's A-okay. We're bringing the content once a week, no matter what, on Spotify and YouTube. Thank you very much for Dylan coming on the show on a work night too, by the way.
Yeah, it's a school night.
It's a school night. Thank you very much for hopping on. It was a lot of fun. Thank you guys as always. We'll see y'all next week.
And Pete, get that blood thing checked out.